Welcome, ladies and gents. And I am joined by the one, the only elite esports here for Playtonia X Mates Ground Zero. How are you doing today, Mark?
I'm good, man. It is hot. I'm loving it. I'm super pumped for the next 2 days. I'm just excited to be here, mate.
Yeah, so obviously we have got 2 days of actions. That's 5 maps each day for these teams to qualify to get through to that grand final. And there is a lot on offer. There's a lot of prize money on offer and a lot of glory on offer, especially against some of these invited teams. But 10 games to go before we get there. So let's have a scroll through some more of these graphics. And that intro video, boys, got to say, beautiful bit of work. But let's have a look at what is going on. And we have got some production screens to show you. So after transition, we get the breakdown of the prize fund. There's a lot of money up for grabs here, Mark, and it just adds the cherry on top, especially competing against such prestigious teams. And yeah, I can't wait for this.
There's loads up for grabs. And do you know what? Even the first, second, third, fourth, fifth prize pool MVP, baby. That's gonna be the bragging rights and most kills right there.
Oh yeah, and you know that the twire, the prestige of getting that MVP or the most kills is already enough, but getting that extra little 500 AED in your back pocket, well, that's always a nice cherry on the top. But as I said, we have got 5 games, so we're going to flick on over and have a look at the format for that as well. Like I said, 5 games each night. Now, this is going to be a little bit different for the players here. We're going to do Erangel, Miramar, and then tomorrow it will be the reverse of that, where we have Miramar, and finishing off on Erangel. Now, we're used to best of sixes. It is the standard format. Of course, we do have the new rules coming in for tiebreakers and such. But yeah, those 5 games put a little bit more pressure on you each night. And we all know sometimes you have a bad day or a bad map. That one less game each day, it can have its toll, Mark.
100%. Especially today, I'm kind of interested to see when we start with the Wrangles, like, hey, does that make a difference? We're used to starting with Miramar. What the team's going to bring to the table in this first game, and then just work their way through the evening. As you mentioned, it's 2 days back to back, and then we've got the triple Miramars tomorrow. Teams are going to be ready for it. Their drop zone's going to be on point. Their killing's going to be on point.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go now and have a look at the teams that made it through. Of course, we had a best of 6 yesterday, and well, it's a stacked lobby, and there's a lot of familiar faces. Pretty much everyone here is familiar faces. You know, I've got my eyes on a few, and it might be a little bit. You know, I do quite a lot in Scandinavia, and I'm looking at the Scando teams. We've got Bitfix, we've got Sakura Sensen, and we've got Formulation. But there are a lot of others. Pink Pony topped the group yesterday. Tokyo Magic Gang have been nuts. Solo, it's just a stacked lobby.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to come to this table. Like obviously yesterday with a couple on it, Squirtle Gang, they got a +7. They actually pulled out the bag in the last game yesterday, getting themselves through to the qualifications round 2. I think it's going to be hell or leather today. Let's see how they open the door. Hopefully they don't leave it to the last game and bring all the action to the last round for us. But yeah, Bitfit Gaming, Solo, Sakura, all teams that I'm kind of keeping my eyes on. I'm not even going to underestimate Toxic players because those guys put a consistent points on the board every single game.
Yeah, and again, that is one of the most important things, especially when we're doing a best of 5 each day, is those points. Even on your bad games, you have to get that. Well, I'm going to say 5 to 10 points on the board. Where you're looking around that 8 kind of average to remain relevant, because there is one less chance each day. And it means that you have to be consistent. You cannot allow those teams to steamroll to get those 20+ point chicken dinners, because if you have 2 bad games in a row in a best of 5, day 2 is going to be super, super hard. It does look like we are setting up the lobby. We're getting there. It's close, and I'm excited to get my passport up, ready, and rock on over to Miramar. I believe for the first. No, it's Erango, isn't it? Sorry,
It wrangled the first up, and
sorry.
The teams are like, as I said, this game one is going to be key for these players and these teams. Like they've got to put their foot forward and go, hey, do you know what? It's only 5 games. We can't have a bad game, as you mentioned. They've got to have good games this evening, and I want to see how, as you say, they've loaded their passports. Are the teams ready? Have they put enough practice in today? Are they going to have a great game? I think the game one is going to set the pace that we're going to see for the next 5 games, especially today, and obviously going into tomorrow for the last 5.
Yeah, and you talk about pace there, and pace is particularly important, especially in a best of five, because you know there is that two game less over the 2 days to score those points. And you've got to prioritize, right? Do we play our normal game? Do we let the points come to us? Knowing that if we get caught on a rotation, playing slow, we're playing edge, we get caught, we don't get any points on the board. Is our standard style of play going to be enough because we've got that extra game buffer normally? Or do we need to frag out a little bit more? And it's going to be that kind of adjustment of time management and fragability, and seeing how these teams adjust. It's always good. I mean, like, game six scrims is normally a throwaway. It's always chaos. It's always crazy. Maybe that not being there, that chance, is going to make things either dramatically speed up, as we've seen with quite a lot of competitions recently, or dramatically slow down. And it could be, we had a I think it was 26-minute game last week in G League qualifiers. This week, it's either going to go down to the wire where we are still, zone 5, zone 6 with the majority of the lobby up, or it is going to be a barren wasteland of blood and bodies. And I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to go a bit in the middle. I think we're going to see a lot of early action. And again, you mentioned all the time people puffing their feathers out, showing who's boss, right?
Peacocking, we call it.
And they've got to show that peacock, right? And I think we're going to see that at the beginning. I think it's going to be a little bit quiet mid-game. I think it's going to hell leather coming into the end games. And that, as I said, hopefully these teams are not going to leave it to the last game this evening. But game 5 could be hell or leather as well.
Yeah, and you talked about teams leaving it to the last minute to qualify to get in, Squirtle Gang. Also, that's going to trip me up because I've always known it as Squirtle Squad back when I used to watch Pokemon back in the day. So, boys, is that intentional? Is that intentional, or is that what it is for your language? You need to get hold of me and tell me that. But yeah, I've had a few heart-stopping last games recently of qualifiers for various things. ESL NA Masters, we had 3 teams in the call for it. One team that shouldn't have been in there, and they came in with a 23-point chicken dinner that ended in a heel off in Pachinki. Another team, Polish Power, they got their boots on, qualified in the last game. Bystanders in their last game by singular points, all of them by singular points. And I don't know if my heart can take much more of this qualifying chaos, Mark, to be honest. I'm an old man now.
Mate, I'm old. You see my grey hair. To be fair, the other day I was rooting for Solo, and they missed out by 3 points. And Polish Power, like GGs, they got through and they held in that whole fight underneath the bridge. Honestly, I was watching on the edge of my seat, and it was insane. It was great. I want to see it this evening.
Yeah, and it's not fun for the players. And I talk about my heart being under strain, with teams that, after sharing a lobby with them for a couple of days or 6 games or whatever, you get a bond, and you always root for the underdog, and you always want the guys that you kind of know to do really well. And I'm talking about my heart being, racing for these teams that qualify by 1 point. But how do you think they feel? And this is like the 3rd or 4th qualifier for big prize fund. Ground Zero put up a huge prize fund, and we're loving the collaboration with mates. So for their first competition, having this amount of talent on display, even at this stage, bearing in mind, we've got to go to the finals with Rick and Cowell next week.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I genuinely can't wait. I don't want to rush today. I don't want to rush tomorrow, but yeah, I've been pumped away coming in through this. And some teams have made it easy. They've got in the path. They got through the second qualifiers nice and quick for the mates. And there are other teams in this lobby that had to hook or by crook get their way in. They had to qualify multiple teams. They had to get the best of the best out of the way, and they had to put their team, their game plan on the map to get themselves through to this evening. And they've got to do best of 10 today, 5 today and 5 tomorrow. That they've got to keep that momentum going. And you say it's by points. I think we're going to see today. We're going to see a couple of close by points, and hopefully they've got the stamina to live it out.
Now, you said an interesting thing there is momentum. Now, momentum can be your 5th man in your team. If you get that ball rolling, if you get that flow, and if you can dictate the pace of the lobby. Now, I talk about this a lot, and it's kind of like an underlying thing that happens is I think there is always a meta for lobbies. And yes, we're talking about there are only 5 games a day, but that's 10 games overall. I think the teams that come out and dictate the pace of the lobby and set the speed of that they want to play, whether it's, we've seen Secure Ascension, fast, aggressive, crash everything, fight everything, wipe up the lobbies, drop big kill games. If they can get that ball rolling, it's hard to stop them. And if they can dictate the pace and do it for the whole game, then it is going to be a nightmare. And talking about Sakura Sensen, well, we're dropping straight on into game number 1. We're already a minute and a half in, and it is Sakura Sensen that we are going to be riding with as they are unopposed in Pachinki.
Yes. As you mentioned, I like this guy. I love Sakura. Like yes, said boys, like they always put a show on. Always, right? They consistent kills, consistent great rotation, and they're solid. One thing I noticed is that when these guys are tight, they're really tight. But look at that zone. Oh my god, we've got a bit of a shift in the way.
Not only have we got a bit of a shift in the way and a great migration that's about to start, we've also got about 30% of it that is water. So already this feels like a zone number 2. And we've seen how the zones, we talked about pacing already of the teams. We've talked less about how the zones, and when they've got this much water in and this much unplayable land, how that dictates the pace further, because it already feels like zone number 2, zone number 3. And it's not fun. Because you have got less land to grab. You've got, especially up here, look at how many compounds. You've got your Saverny, you've got your shooting range, you've got your crossroads, you've got your warehouses on top of the hill and your granny. But that's it. There is a lot of open nothingness. Now, just before we get any further in the game, of course, if you've been on Twitter, if you've seen anything of the promotion or the intro video, you will know that we are doing some giveaways tonight. So all you got to do is type !giveaway and you will be entered into the draw for some of those skins. We got 4 to give away tonight, which I will do over the course of the evening, if not at the end of the stream. And we'll be rewarding you with some fancy old skins, Mark.
Yeah, I'm glad I can't take part, mate. I've got a new PC account. I moved from console. My guy looks pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. Hashtag help me out.
You need that drip like you've got in real life. That shirt, again, another banger today, Mark.
100%, mate. You know me. Dodgy shirt Mondays, dodgy shirt Tuesdays. Every day of the week, dodgy shirt.
Okay. So, again, a team I've got a lot of love for here is PFG, Bitfix Gaming. We've got Ivor, Ironic, Feisker, and Otto. I've had the privilege of casting them quite a lot in Norwegian leagues, and it looks like they're already on a migration battle, and it's going to be with a fellow Scandinavian team of Sakura Sensen. Tekis is going for the drive-by, the double drive-by coming out now. Feisker goes down and eats the back of the Dacia. Oh, Tekis gets another one onto Otto. This is absolutely huge. What an intro. As now Ivor and Ironic from afar with no sights trying to lend a hand in. And Intense is now here to back up Sakura Sensen. And this could be a very early doors wipe. And it is going to be Scandinavian on Scandinavian action.
We said this though. Mate, they're decent. They are aggressive. They will not back down and fight. And I say that lightly. They will actually take smart fights sometimes. They will back away from certain things, and they just dominated that. And BFG now, they've got to figure out after game number 1, they've got to get themselves in on a 2-man, and they're coming up to the petrol bridge. It is going to be a bit of a hectic game coming in now. It looks like I said, dominating that one.
They did, but they're getting dominated in return now as toxic players. They unleash on that Roshok bridge and get Intense down. Meanwhile, we're seeing more rotations coming out, and it's going to be Rafa and the boys of No Tag. Look at this. It's all getting a little bit crazy, a little bit hectic here.
They're taking some good compounds early. It looks like they're going for the scout. It looks like TM now going to put themselves in a position. They want to fight. They're hoping the zone's going to pull back to them and maybe play out that sort of side of Stauber. Toxic though, nice kill on the board, early doors for them, and they've capitalised on that third party really. As Sakura have just wrapped themselves through and straight into it.
Yeah, and I did see, I believe, one of the players just sitting next to the bridge, possibly waiting for a bit of revenge, or possibly with no vehicle now after the drive-by. Toxic players, though, they look like they've disengaged and sent a scout on up a little bit further, as now we're going to get Jekka, who is just going to go down and try and get across that Ros bridge. They are mobile. They all have vehicles. Meanwhile, up on the north side of Stauber, we've got Ghetto Gang rotating in close contention. Not quite sure who that was with there. I think it might have been Formulation, but I need to see. As BFG, well, they've engaged in one fight and they're already in another. As Ironic takes down Rafa.
I told you it was going to kick off early. Game number 1. This is setting your mark. This is putting your team name up there. Like if you see us in the kill feeds, you need to back away from us. Like this is what it's going to be like. I think. A lot of rotation coming in as we see that some early fights, and obviously a lot of teams now in zone. We've got Pink Ponies on the wrap down in that sort of southeast corner as they kind of work their way in. But a bit worried about Cran. They're still out there. Long distance, long rotation for them. We might be lucky in the sense that a lot of these teams might donut up on zone and they'll be get a nice free pass into that zone corner.
indeed. More fights kicking on off as BitFix, they crash onto No Tag and trying to capitalize off of that early knock. One has gone upstairs already on Chronics there. Sheila is just trying to use the smokes, trying to use the distraction, gets a little tickle onto the foots there, but takes a big chunk of damage in return. Both players now going to have to heal as we can see the traces coming in and hear the sound of peppering shots from range. But it is looking like BFG, they are outmanned, not outgunned though, as they have done a lot of damage here.
Yeah, No Tag's on the back foot as not going to have to try and defend up BFG. They're coming in late, but that smoke's going to burn out and the visualization is going to come through. It looks like they're so focused up on this side, and I worry that if they're lucky enough, they might be able to pick up a couple of guys. BFG, oh, with a knock then straight away, and a second, so they just pick up 2. That's not what you want though if you're not.
Huge work here as now Explicit comes in, diving through the smoke, misses the player by an inch, but now knows that they're both on that southern side, peeks in through the window, and Ironic gets another one. That's a triple so far coming in. They're going to have to try and trade each other out. The barrel is so strong though. Can he do the work required of him? It's close. They're dancing, and he does. He manages to save the day. Shots now coming from Shakura Sensen though, as Tekers slots it through the window. No Tiger eliminated. 3 kills though go to BitFix as they salvage something as their Scandinavian brothers well. They come to the aid, they heed the call, and they take down No Tag. We've got 2 teams ejected, and we've only got 7 minutes 50 on the clock.
Wow, come on. Like, you got to think about this as well. BFG, you'd be looking at going, I'm gutted to go out, but oh my, I'm even gutted that Sakura then, who took the early kills from us, then wiped the squad that we nearly wiped ourselves, but then got not massive toxic long distance shots as V27 now rotate past them. Looks like a lot of teams now settling down a little bit.
Yeah.
What a start, mate. Jeez.
We talked about it being fast or really slow, and I think we're going to be gifted to the latter as now Toxic players. They're going on in and looking for that petrol station, looking down at, bolt shot coming out from Alpaca, and it's just going to miss the mark there. But again, it's that peacocking, it's being loud, it's letting everybody know that we're here, we're loud, we're proud, and if you crash us, you're going to get punished for it.
Yeah, 100%. Some good positions taken up here, if I'm honest with you. Grindmore, though, taking a very north side here. That's not too bad. I'm very aware that this sort of north side style, but actually favours teams that are lower down the hill. You can push your way up and see the players. If anyone's top of style but looking down, if the fight does descend back down to them, they will actually have the advantage because they'll see the player before anyone up the top of the hill will see them. And it's only one of the few areas that are on the map that you're able to get away with that. Normally the whole above the mountain has a better look.
Well, it's as Obi-Wan Kenobi said, I have the high ground, and it's over. The high ground normally reigns supreme.
Not Stauber.
Not Stauber. Yeah, it's that foliage that breaks the lines of sight, but of course you can see on that there are a few little peaky, hidey holes, and of course, when you're down low, you know exactly where everyone up top's going to be, and it is just a forest look through. Oh my goodness gracious, V22 getting picked apart here, and it's going to come from those toxic players. Grindmore still posturing and sending some shots over as well to the Ghetto Gang as well. They've impressed me. They've been very good and come very much into the eyes of competitive PUBG over the last few months as a roster. Tekers steals yet another kill, and Toxic players are going to get another one down from V22. So that solo compound just to the south of Crossroads, not looking too good, too strong for them at the moment as they are scrambling, and the smoke cover is going down. But look at Toxic players taking aggressive positions as Toro is just going to just try and get some cover, and cover he will with a lovely little tappy tap there from that SLR.
Normally with more of a north shift rotation, that compound favours, but Toxic, I said to you before, I love these guys, I love these teams because they're super consistent. They've got that balance of aggression, they got that balance of placement, they got that balance of hunting down kills. Like they can put points on the board even without placement.
They can indeed, and that's what it's all about, because we all know that one rotation, that RNG, that team that's a little bit late or come in from a slightly weird angle, being forced off of their own rotation, can catch you off guard. And if you rely too heavily on getting to that end game and those placement points and the kills coming to you at the end and aren't able to frag out early to mid game, you can be punished for it. Consistency, getting those points on the board is great. Talking about that, Tekers, 4 kills to his name already.
Oh man, Tekers,
4.
let's go.
He's Tekers. He lives up to his name. He's a funny 100%. Dude as well.
I love watching him. I love watching him. Tekers had plenty of shots on salty with a knock. Right in between a salty and Tekers sandwich, and there we see V27 after getting punished slightly by Toxic players on the north side. Actually pushing back, but Squirtle Gang now lining up. And look at this, going to be a
That should be
decent
enough.
lineup.
Oh, gets away with it, but Ace Crew, they're in, and my man Michael's getting the flush on to Leos. It does look like it is all going their way. It's Purdy Curdy's in the mix as well, and this is a team that I'm very interested in seeing tonight. I've got a lot of love for these boys, especially Big Michael, if anybody knows, part of the winning PNC team.
Yes, mate, 100% UK. Let's go. Exactly, yeah, it's the Ace. Look at on the bottom sort of west hand side. They're dominated where we saw with Toxic, and we see a heavy fight and great movement here by SG Squirtle Gang. They're already a move. They've come out. They're going to wrap themselves up on that hill in that southwest corner. They might even want to try and stick on the third party. It's going to be all about timing for this one because Toxic can want to try and clear this fight and get away from this. As we see Jekyll now backing away, and he might wrap himself around. Ace though, I'm worried that if they stay here for too long, they might have Squirtle Gang coming on that sort of west hand side or that east side to them, pushing across towards that southwest corner.
Yeah, of course, as Ace Crew, they pick up their second point as now they start to bully, but it's Frenchie that's actually going to get the knock there for Squirtle Gang as that side flank that you talked about is very exposed and is going to be punished. I think they know that the knocks come through as we see Purdy get inside that car, drop on down. It looks like Jam's ahead of him as well, already in to try and confirm that kill out and steal that away from Frenchie. But Squirtle Gang, look at the wrap that they've got on their minimap. They want in on this.
Yeah, that's a good, that's really good breakdown in IQ there of Ace Q to understand that that player there was knocked, and they capitalised on not work that they'd done, but work from another team to take potentially a strong compound. They now need to close the door. They've got to stop SG now pushing in on them. Squirtle Gang can't be allowed to work into that compound. And it looks like they already know this, and they are backing away. Try and take the fight a little bit longer. 13 teams remain, 46 people up. We've seen a hectic start already, and we've just gone over 13 minutes on the clock. So looks like long game going to come in from Squirtle Gang.
Yeah, and they're not going to be too happy about being robbed from the points there, but they have realised who they're up against. And like you said, it's big names. They were kill feed watching. They understood the situation. They moved on it, and they've reaped the reward. Squirtle Gang, though, they've done the chip damage. They've cleared their path for their rotate, and now they're coming up and they're looking at that compound just to the north of the tadpole. But big fight about between the two. It's going to be the Pink Ponies and Tokyo Magi Gang. TMG open things up, and it's going to be Hello My Bad. That is going to send some 762 and a nade down the way. Just gets a little bit of tick damage. Exchanges going out both sides as the wrap and the fight in the ruins begins.
Yeah, it's a horrible round to fight in. This is who can hold the king of the castle. Pink Pony, as you said already, they dominate their group and actually held topside. They're going to have a good game here, but that's not bad. It looks like a TM though, better than not. Pink Pony, good tags though here as they're trying to push through. It's a great TDM map, and we're seeing it unfold into game number 1.
Yeah, just about to make that point as Archie gets down. Hello, my bad. So an even trade so far, but Wade's evens things up onto Lurex. And now it is just 2v3 as they surge on forward, confirming out those kills. And it looks like Archie's going to go down as well. So things falling apart very, very quickly. And Pink Ponies, he actually topped the lobby yesterday. So not the start they want. One player left. The Reds is coming out. The Blues against the Black. The flashes come around the corner. And things could be about to end. The heal is coming off the revive. And now just has to anchor, has to hold. But TMG, they smell blood in the water and they're surging forward.
Yeah, they're holding well. They've let the zone go. It's phase 3, so they will be taking a bit of a chunk. There's one. Down to 1 man. It's going to be a push now coming through. Going to peek, and he goes actually out to zone, unfortunately. So TM missing out on that final kill, but picking up 3. Take it all day long.
Indeed, they will. Ghetto Gang just on the outside of that east side of the circle, up the hill, talking about that high ground that we've already touched upon. They're going to get the lines of sight there, but of course they've got to worry about the members coming down after that fight up aloft Stalber. They're also going to have great lines of sight onto VVV, Vendi Vendivici. Try and say that 3 times really, really fast. I bet
we came, we saw, we conquered. And they do some lobbies, I'm not going to lie. They are strong. So, look, where Ghetto Gang are sitting, it's a very well-known place for potentially to push up. The Stalber will push down to where the zone shifted away from, and they're going to have a lot of teams focusing. They've got to really insert their dominance here. They're getting some great shots there on GM, but with that zone shifting very much across to that west side, they're going to want to try and hold and ensure no teams backfield behind them. We're seeing shifts coming from the top side. Obviously, No Tag's now playing down a little bit on the southeast of them, but we've still got to come in. TM, it depends on the time. They've got to shift their way in. I fear that they're going to push into Ghetto Gang, and they're going to try and take this area. Ghetto Gang need to ensure they don't drop the ball and ensure that behind them, they're constantly checking back and not focusing too much on the forward action.
Yeah, it's that due diligence and that map awareness we talked about with the kill feed tracking already. If they've been watching the kill feed, if they've been listening to the shots up the hill, then they should know that TMG are going to come in behind them, and they've got prime locations, so they really need to have their heads on a swivel as the cars start to descend. No hearing the engine so far, so that silent roll already coming in, and I think this fight is about to ensue.
Yeah, do you know what? That zone shift's really favoured gang. They're going into this, they've got to, as you said, got to make sure they hold that backside corner and make sure that no team's wrapping behind them and do well. Squirtle Gang, worried about where they're sitting. Formulation Gaming in their prime bit of real estate there. Someone call them because they are doing some bit.
Big crash coming on in, and it's going to be the Aces crew once again surging forward and taking the fight to Sakura Sensor. Michael with the nades coming in, and the utility dump is just relentless.
Wow, talk about util, org in hand. Michael is going to be pushing through two-man secure. The nade back, coming back, and they're going to try, and they are holding the corner as best they can. Ace might just take a bit of a break and just try and get that res back in. Oh, not with that knock though. Here comes the rest of the util coming through.
Flash does actually just catch Michael, but the org in hand, he does get the shot, the reveal of the location, but the org's just too powerful. Purdy and Michael in tandem, wiping out Sakura Sensen. They were the monsters. They set the pace in the early game, but look at Ace's crew coming through. 6 kills to their name, 1-4 on the feet, and now they've got themselves that southwest building ground to march forward and take this lobby as their own.
Here we got Cran taking out Toxic. So again, we're starting to see some teams drop now. 10 teams, 35 left. We're just getting 18 minutes on the clock. So everyone's having to fight now for a bit of position, a bit of real estate. There's not as much gap in space. So looks like we're seeing the teams now have to really drive forward and ensure they get through to the replacement points because we're not there at the moment.
Oh, indeed. Michael is going to take a little bit of damage there, but give some out in return, as it does look like Brand guys are there getting into it, and it is with Grindmore, and it is just absolute chaos here. Senya comes in and gets one confirmed. Tokyo Majigang, will they get eliminated? We talked about them having a hard time in after their fight on top, but this whole eastern side is looking like chaos. Formulation Gaming, again, got a lot of love for this team. Know 3 of the members personally, and they are set up in a lovely central position. They're just going to be poking, prodding, taking away those helmets, burning through those meds, and putting themselves into a really strong spot. I did just see an AWM, though, and that renders all of that work useless if that thing catches you in the head.
Yeah, you love a bolty action. I like the minis, personally. Maybe because I'm not good with the bolties. I favour the DMRs. But I worry with Squirtle Gang, as we see... obviously, we're friends now, sitting very close. These guys, they're very smart on the aggressive pace. They might eventually, when they get a knock on Squirtle Gang, it's quite hard to defend that location. We're now seeing Ace with Rack and Back. They've controlled this sort of southwest corner. Good play for them. And look at the friends with their 2-2 split. That's going to really favour those guys, because if they get that knock on Squirtle Gang, it's quite hard. But the only advantage of Squirtle Gang is because they're in the dip, Formulation Gaming can't really see them, and they might favour the fight there across the top of the heads of Squirtle Gang onto the friends, and that zone shift coming back down to that sort of southeast corner. They just need to duck those heads down, mate. Wait the game out. Let some of these teams try and fight out the angles. No more stress. Oh, F3V gone. We came, we saw, conquered. Just been done by Get a Game. They're still holding that side. They're doing their job, and they're doing it well.
They are indeed. Now pressure coming in from all angles onto all teams. But what you talked about being down in the trenches as well, it's not going to be a safe haven if shots like that come out from Sahar. The triple tap going in onto Noki and just putting him down. But the thing is here is with Formulation Gaming being occupied by Aces, it's going to allow friends to come in. Whereas normally, if that fight wasn't ensuing, Formulation Gaming would be bullying the overpeak coming in from friends. Great nade coming in from Illidan. Re-knocking Noki as he's back on his feet, and the utility dump is just coming in. The AWM coming in play, and it's massive as Frenchie just eats that Lapuna Magnum round.
I told you, that first knock opened the door, and we see a huge crash. They come off the hillside now. We see the pressure with a nice 4-on-2. They do get a knock in return. So it's now to a 2-on-3. There's a nice flash as well. Nice and quick from them.
Oh, fight is coming back. Resistance is being shown as one player goes down, but 3 kills on the board for friends here. I believe, weren't they Couch Gang or something before in a G-Loot? They changed their name up, but yeah.
I still love the logo.
Sofa Surfers. Yeah, I think they've just changed the logo a little bit. But Illidan's about to meet a pro player. Oh, Ziga is there. ready, and he's going to confirm that out. Now bringing things down to a 2v2. Big shots coming in now as Gang get involved, and that prone player finds another one. But it's going to be Sancho that gets the knock, and the kill is going to be stolen away. They know he's knocked. He peeks around, but the shots are coming in from up high, as now we can see on the minimap. Cars are dipping, diving in. Sancho and Gang, the high cover is there. He's shooting his dead body as it stands, and now the rest of the boys come in. Nardskip holds the line though and manages to get another one down from the Squirtle Gang as they're eliminated at the hands of Sheegan and Nordskip and Blazer. Two teams working in tandem, and big shots coming in. That's going to be Jam from miles away. He brings the fight in, and it is just bloodshed. Look at this, Solo getting into it. Everyone's getting into it, and Blazer from Grindmore is going to get one of his own. Oh my goodness gracious me. There are 17 alive, only 21 minutes on the clock, and this is going to be a thick and fast one. We've got three teams duking it out, clashing horns, should I say, on this northwest side, and it's not done yet because Formulation Gaming, they're taking up some aggressive angles. Solo, Senya, and Pry just have 6 kills on the board, and they're looking for more. But look at Formulation Gaming, they're trying to get that spread as we go down to our top 4 teams. That is it. Go Gang, aces. Formulation Gaming and Solo, it's a 4v4v 1v2 as it stands, unless Solo can get that player back up on their feet. But this is wild.
Formulation Gaming, they've had the prime real estate, but not the kills. There's 0 kills at the moment. They're holding their little mansion well. They're holding that little fortress down. No one's really contended them. As you mentioned, they were having a fight with Ace, but Ace backed off that. They knew that was wrong, and they just got stuck right in this sort of southeast corner, taking that sort of, what is it, 4th party by them, because you saw Ghetto Gang take the 3rd party, and they just rolled in after. Looks like the Formulation Gaming now want to go try and hunt the kills. They now pick up a drop, and Solo, I love Solo. They're a good team. Really good team. They've got to get the rest in quick, but they've got to be very, very careful because Formulation Gaming are hungry for these kills. Nade going out. I think it's going to be cooked straight for that smoke. It's going straight into a great nade. It's down to a 1-man now. And Formulation Gaming might be closing the door for Solo on game number 1 to see what he's going to hold up. Oh, he gets one. He spins down on them. Unfortunately, Solo eventually getting eliminated. So we see them take in 4th place. Oh.
My boys, Snooski and Atomical, coming in there, working in contention, and they get the job done. But look at this. It's allowed Ace's crew to fixate and crash on to the 2 remaining members of Ghetto Gang, but they're in the trenches. They're dug in. They're trying to put up the resistance, and resistance is what is going to be coming up, dipping over with that mini tippy-tapping Purdy away, and that's huge. That's going to even the numbers up, and if Formulation Gaming can get back up on track and get involved exactly like they're doing now with Corky, then this could turn the fight away and take the power away from Ace's crew immediately.
Yeah, going down to a 1, really holding literally in the trenches. I know we mentioned it, but he's literally in the trenches. And Ace just playing the Sharks. What a Nathan and Molly. Oh, and then, oh my God, 10-pack. GG's, Ghetto Gang leading the way. They need to get this resin quickly because Formulation Gaming will be pursuing this quickly. They'll be reading the kill feed. They will know they've got 4 on their team, and there's only 2 of our players up. They want to close the door here, but Ghetto Gang talk about defending the trenches. GG's.
Absolutely insane. Of course, they got that little helping hand, and Formulation Gaming, yes, they're 4 up, but look at the kill differentiation. I think with the points, it will be even if Formulation Gaming win this, but they know where the enemy are. But we've just seen the defense that they can mount from the trenches, from the car forts that they built. They've got this on lock, but the shots, the team shots coming out with coordination from Formulation Gaming is fantastic. Shoot from the anchors, pin them down as we send cars in to wrap and engulf that zone for our own. Phase 6, and we are nearly over 3 zones early. This is going to be a wild game, and I cannot wait to see this.
They're just going to deny points. Themselves out. They're going, I've got 10 points, boys. Let's go. Like, that is, wow. That's why we got 10 games. That is shocking, and it is amazing IQ level. That is insane, people.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And it's going to come at the hands of Formulation Gaming. It might not be the highest fragging game, but it's a big chunk of points. Those placement points, yes, we saw that Ghetto Gang put in a big performance and got big kills on the board. Yes, we saw the same was much the same for Ace's crew and for Sakura Sensing getting some big frags on the board early. But those placement points, they close the gap, whether you win by an inch or a mile. Sorry, I'm not going to quote Fast and Furious. It matters. Placement points are huge. But what we're going to do now is we're going to get those scores calculated. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
All clear on the roof. Heading back down.
Roger. Hurry up. We need to move.
Just make sure I don't take a bullet in the back.
Looking good. Keep it steady.
I hear footsteps. I got a bad feeling.
Enemy spotted. Move! Move!
Yeah. Yeah, it's 5 minutes, mate. I can tell. I'll tell him my phone start to 10.
What am I doing?
You're going up next time.
There won't be a
Simon's
next
asked me to
time.
change the title, which I'm on now.
Oi, Amelia, what's the deal then?
2 up top, 2 downstairs.
All right, so we just go prancing in the front door
Yeah,
as per usual.
actually, it's awesome. It's way more than expected.
Trust me.
So nice,
These
nice.
will do the trick.
The fog of war. Remove all visibility. We take them out one by one. They won't know what hit them.
Oi, who's that behind you? Look, here's what we do. Surprise attack. We go in big chicken dinner style through the window, guns blazing.
You mean like in Miramar?
Enough. First, we smoke out the first floor. But we'll need a distraction. Something super loud and obnoxious.
Right, I see where this is going.
Don't worry, Aziz. I got your back.
Three down.
Vamos!
Welcome back, ladies and gents, and my oh my, what a game at number 1 that was. It was fast, it was furious. It's the second time I've said that, and I'm actually angry with myself. But we talked about this in the break. What a statement from Ghetto Gang to deny those points. I don't normally reference chat, but I can see in chat the 2-kill wing. Kills are overrated, right, boys? But 12 points on the board for formulation. And in fact, let's just go and have a look at the scoreboard and break down the tail of the tape, because the team that won it, well, I've got a feeling they're not going to be sitting on the top spot.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I think you put it right. Statement is the best way. I was looking in the chat and laughing because, wow. The first game, we see that sometimes third, maybe fourth, or maybe even this sort of end, like those little points where people have been working on their points. But talk about making a statement, game one, going, yeah, see you later, guys. You're not having these kills. I'll see you on the leaderboard, and the Ghetto Gang taking top spot. Jeez.
Yeah, taking it with 16 points, 12 points for Ace's crew and Formulation. Solo just outside of that with 11. And Sakura Sensen, even though they went out pretty early, they went on the offensive. 8 kills in their back pockets, not a single slither of placement points. And that brings them into the top 5. And 6 is Cran Key. I'm not even sure how to say that one. But we'll call him Cran with 6 points. Friends on 5. TMG, that Tokyo Magic Gang, on 4. Going down into the bottom half of the leaderboard, we've got Squaddle Gang on 4. Grindmore on 4. Bitfix on 3. No Tag on 2. Toxic on 1. V27 on 0. V on 0. And Pink Ponies on 0 as well. It was chaos from the start. It was absolute insanity.
But remember, we saw that rotation though. We saw Sakura though taking out BFG early doors. BFG then putting down no tags and down to a 3-man, losing that fight in that 4th out of 2, and it just unfolded from there. But let's not take anything away from Formulation Gaming. They did get second place. They didn't get the kills they needed, but they took prime real estate. They understood the zone. Their IGL was making the right calls. They defended and stopped teams crashing them. They were just unlucky that actually most of the action happened on the outside of the zone where people lost the area.
Indeed, they were. So, game number 2, the lobby is being set up, and I can't believe the action and how fast it was in the first game. I'm hoping for exactly the same.
100%. We're going to see it. I want to see Ace with that crazy rotation, just crashing compounds. I want to see Mike with the org again. It's going to be good to see.
Yeah. Big Mike with an org in his hand. And then, of course, we saw that AWM coming into effect. We all love the crate weapons. They are monstrous. But we have got those giveaways to give away. So I'm going to roll the first one right now. So if you want to enter, it is exclamation mark giveaway. So the first winner is Atomical. Atomical, you need to send me a DM and I will drop you over a code. We have got some of those lovely cowboy sets to give away. And yeah. So we're going to keep doing that all over the course of the night. Make sure you are doing exclamation mark giveaway, and we will keep giving away some more skins. But not sure how far we are on the next game getting in. We are just going to go and have a look at another leaderboard, I believe. I think we got some more stats to bring up for you.
We love stats and facts.
We do indeed. Take us away, Mark.
Overall, rosy kills. Look at that. Blaze with a 6-pack. Solo with 6 as well. Remember, we didn't really see that action really start to unfold until the end, but you know, Techers, oh my days, he was leading the way. Him and Salty, when they pinch those guys that are coming in, Ghetto Gang, and not disappointing actually, to be fair, but no surprise really for me on the guys on this sort of left-hand side of the table. I don't know if you would expect anyone else really to be up here, but maybe the Ace guys, but they kind of shared those kills out. But overall leaderboard on the kill side, that's normal, should we say, from what we saw.
Yeah, and like I said, it was fast, it was furious, and there were a lot of kills for very, very top heavy. But we only have 3 teams with 0 points, considering that game ended in zone at number 6. It was insane. It was so fast.
Yeah, it was very, very quick. Knocks as well. I saw a lot of the teams obviously with the plays getting the knocks, but a lot of kills actually stolen from the action that we saw. And look at that, no surprise, that org in hands, leading the damage town though. Michael putting on the board, 693, was like 700 damage. That's a good statement for game number 1. And those guys at the end though were just driving around trying to get the kills. And as I'm going to say, one of the more aggressive teams crashing into compounds, trying to make it happen. Obviously, the survival time, though, Blake's obviously 24:58. And as I said, and we saw at the end there, those guys checked themselves out. They got themselves back on that plane and out, ready for game number 2. Formulation Gaming, and no surprise, obviously, those guys sitting in the middle of compounds. But look at the amount of damage, though. Surprisingly, Hawkeye, though, with only 2 kills on the board for Formulation Gaming, though. Look at the amount of damage. That again, it comes back to those guys defending that compound. And there's that element of, were they unlucky? Did they not have any crashes? Were the kills stolen all the time? Yeah, there was, but I think it's put them on a good foot forward going into this one.
Yeah, they were sent. They were locked up, and they were just poking and prodding. They got a lot of damage, but no confirmations to their name. And of course, that means they didn't get the points that we would assume they would have got because they weren't able to confirm out those kills. Everyone else was doing it for them. Yes, they were getting knocks. Yes, they were poking and prodding and doing the initial damage, but they were all being stolen away. Especially like that Valley engagement between Squirtle Gang in the trenches and then the big old crash, which Ghetto Gang fended off from the big boys of Aces. So it was a bit of a strange game. Well, I say a bit of a strange game. It was really strange. I've not seen a game in competitive end in Zone 6 for a while now. And yeah, we are just going to go to a short break while we wait for the players to get loaded in. We are just mere minutes away from getting into that next game and the last one tonight of Erangel.
All clear on the roof. Heading back down.
Roger. Hurry up. We need to move.
Just make sure I don't take a bullet in the back.
Looking good. Keep it steady.
I hear footsteps. I got a bad feeling.
Enemy spotted. Move! Move!
You're going up next time.
There won't be a next time.
Oi, Amelia, what's the deal then?
2 up top, 2 downstairs.
All right, so we just go prancing in the front door as per usual then, huh?
Not today, hermano. We must be like ghosts. Trust me, these will do the trick. The fog of war. Remove all visibility. We take them out one by one. They won't know what hit them.
Oi, who's that behind you? Look, here's what we do. Surprise attack. We go in big chicken dinner style through the window, guns blazing.
You mean like in Miramar?
Oh, shit. Enough. First, we smoke out the first floor. But we'll need a distraction. Something super loud and obnoxious.
Right, I see where this is going.
Don't worry, Aziz. I got your back.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. So we are nearly ready to get in on that game. There were a little bit of technical issues for, I think, the other side, but I think we will be live in 1 minute. So again, it's fast, it's furious. A lot of that was dictated by the circle. Of course, like I said, there was about 30% that was already out because of the water. And that makes things really hard and really, really irritating to get into a zone. Especially, we saw teams trying to play clever and going on that big old north rotate along the road north of Stauber, and still teams had the same idea. It was congested, and on every single side of that map was just a warfare.
Let's get into things. As we've been told, they're live, they're jumping, the plane is coming in, passport's been checked, as you guys always mention, and we got guys jumping out. Great plane rotation as we got a nice west down towards the southeast. It's quite heavy down in that sort of southwest corner, though. Will we see a Millie? That is the big question.
A milli is the question on everyone's lip. And yeah, we've seen some really good circles. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, Mark. I know a lot of the players really don't like it, but I enjoy this West Coast, the swamps, the quarry kind of finishes. I think they're interesting. We don't see an awful lot of them. We haven't for a while. Of course, the circles have been pretty wild in esports of late. And we're seeing some awkward ones, some hard ones. And I'm for it because it is very entertaining. And to watch these teams, I don't want to say struggle, but think on their feet and have to come up against hardships that they wouldn't normally face with some of these center zones. It really shows the pedigree and the class of these teams. But looks like it's been a relatively free and easy drop. That gentleman's agreement coming in. We're not going to see some very early bloodshed like we did last time.
No, and with that plane path, and obviously a lot of teams dropping out late, but no surprises really on the drop zones. We've seen it through the qualifiers. These guys and girls know, actually, hold on, where to drop, where to go. We've seen a little bit of a stretch here with TM Tokyo having to do a long drop over Solo, who would take school and flat, but they're putting themselves in a position they know well. They know they can loot this effective and quick. The only downside for this is on the zone shift. How, where and when did these guys have to go? And we never know on the zone shift because it could go polar opposite, especially if you land in North George. It's going to be a horrible shift for some of the teams. But most of the time, though, George is always great for loot, right? We see teams come up here super stacked, even 4 out of 4 players. Normally, sometimes in some areas, you get maybe 3 out of 4, which have gear, but it's a time-based zone.
Yeah, it's being, for me more so, it's knowing how to loot efficiently. These apps, yes, they look, it's the circle I said. I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry. And look at how much land is in. I would say, oh my God, that's about 40% land in there. And that's not a fun one. So we talked about 30% of the zone being taken away, causing an absolute riot in the last game. Well, try 60% of it being ripped away from beneath you.
The good thing now with this, right? And yeah, 100%. There's a lot of water in there. And as you guys and girls know who have played, and those who haven't, welcome. It can't land on unplayable area. So get phase 1, phase 2 can be on a random shift, but 3 and 4 onwards, you kind of get the algorithm kicking in where it's going to land. Now, a lot of these players have played this for quite some time now, and they will know there are some key locations that we're going to be taking. So I'm really interested to see what the IGLs decide to do. For me, that quarry, that Salford quarry, that kind of like hillside in between that and Primorsk is going to be key. It might pull back that way. We might even see it then shift up towards the swamps. And then sometimes you see that sort of south, the sort of northwest kind of finish. And the swamps are horrible to fight in because you can have players literally on top of you. And yeah, you might hear them, but you have no idea where they're going to pop their head out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another compound that me and Gibson love. I think it's one of the best compounds on this side of the map. It's where we've got, I believe, Poro from V27. We call it McDonald's compound because it's on an M-shaped road. It is god tier. It is unbelievable. You've got mansions, you've got flat tops, you've got two prio buildings with so many lines of sight, and you can bully everyone. There is a circle as well that ends pretty much in between that and the Harry Potter, and one that ends on a road just to the east of McDonald's as well. So it's very strong, especially if the circles favor you and send it that way. But again, it's about moving efficiently, especially with a zone that has this much water in. If you are late on your rotation, we saw what happened on all of the sides of that circle after phase 1. Coming in, the edge of the zones were crazy. You need to prioritize rotations over loot at this point. You get your AR, you get your helmet, you get your vest, regardless of what level it is, and you get in that vehicle and you dip because you do not have time to mess around with a circle like this.
Yeah, and look, Crown doing the right thing here. They're just checking off the bridge, make sure they're not getting any camped on the other side. So good place from them. And you're right, it's about that movement. I like McDonald's. We used to call it McDonald's as well. And actually, it was my drop zone in playing console. And we used to land there. I actually really like the single pot route to the east of that. And obviously, you can play in. You can actually control people on that sort of field. You have to pick up quite some kills. It's sometimes hard to shift out of, but as you mentioned, you've got that hard spawn car. You've got that field ending as well. So it can be quite a strong compound. I think we might see a few teams try and play into that, if not soon. And it's good to see a lot of these teams. I know it's game number 2. We're seeing nice early rotations and shifts here from these guys.
Yeah, it's what you like to see. It's that efficiency that I talk about. And there are certain teams that every single game you can set them up to it. Wooly, who plays 3 minutes 50, typically, you will see any team he's playing with in their cars and moving. It's that efficiency. It is that standard that you have for moving. Again, now teams rotating early. Formulation Gaming were another one that resided on Sovnovka Island. They're going to watch that early rotate. Of course, no real bridge camp coming out here because they're prioritized on that end game over getting those 4 kills.
Isn't it? Yeah,
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. We saw that Formulation Gaming, they only got 2 kills last game, but they got 12 points because they played till end game. Is realistically setting up on the bridge, waiting, and look, we're seeing another rotation come through already from Solo Gang.
Here.
If they had bridge
Formulation Gaming might hit heads here.
If they had bridge camped, the Squirtle Gang would have come up behind them and possibly taken them straight out of the game. It's that risk reward that you were talking about, and prioritizing end game over 4 kills, which potentially can land you in a lot of trouble. I think they made the right choice there.
Well, we talk about kills. Look at the last time. Ghetto Gang checking out with 10. Thank you very much. Second place with 10 kills. I'm done. And Formulation Gaming, obviously, as you mentioned, they were so low down, so low down, wrong wording really, but lower down on the leaderboard compared to some other teams. Ace had an outstanding kill game. Ghetto Gang had an outstanding kill game. They're higher up on the points. They had that balance, that finer balance we see with some of these teams. Oh, great shots though. Staying low in Quarry. Oh, there's a quick kill confirmed.
Squirtle Gang, they're getting into it, and we saw them rotate ahead of Formulation Gaming, but of course being picked up by Kran here on the compound just on the beach, just past Ferry Pier. Well, that actually alerted Formulation Gaming that they could rotate a little bit further north in the woods, but now look at this, where Burntum is going to find and try and pick another rotation. The barrel spray comes out, does do a little bit of damage, but not enough. But he's in no man's land, and he's going to be very careful. And Formulation Gaming didn't want to get a piece of that, but does look like they are more occupied and more set on rotating. Meanwhile, Score Sensen, they lost Intense. We saw how fruitful Intense was in the last game, and it was from that player, like you said, laying low in the warehouses in Quarry.
Well, do you know what? I said, mate, Shakira, never check them out, even as a 3, even as a 2. These guys are going to put points on their board, so they are going to lay low, but I think they're going to pick up some points here. Looks like we've got Not hanging up on the bridges here as Ghetto can rotate on the north side. They're obviously working their way down back towards Georgia Pool there. I think both these teams got a bit of a shift to go in. They've got to make their way sort of west and then down to sort of southwest corner. But looks like we've got teams already 100% killed.
We do. We got a big fight going on here as it's Formulation Gaming and Solo. And I even saw Ace's crew getting involved and taking out Atomico as well. So 2 left for Formulation Gaming, 2 left for Solo and Ace's crew. We saw what predators they were, and we saw just how they like to get involved and watch that kill feed. They'll be doing just that, and I think they'll strike while the iron is hot. We can see them on that mini-map already coming in, surrounding it, those elevated lines of sight, and they might potentially about to be pick apart the previous game winner, Snooski. Do not hit that. Oh,
It would be an interesting play, but Formulation Gaming, though, they've got their heads in the swivel, and they see Ace now tapping in behind, so it looks like the Century's going to have to come back. They are a 2. As you mentioned, they did win the last game, but I think they did cut loose here and push away and make sure Dish do exactly what Solo done. Yeah, we've taken a bit of a loss, but we need to get a bit of a balance now for the end games, and see them now pushing out.
Indeed, now we got TMG, W and Magic Gang, well, they're sending some shots way down range, just trying to demobilize Bitfix there, it would appear. Bitfix, of course, they had a bit of a rough start coming into contention with their Scandinavian brethren of Sakura on the old rotate, but it does look like they're managing to lock stuff down. Big Ival now getting that observation tower, and it is a powerhouse of a compound. Oh, not far behind, potentially about to swap out Juaz for a little bit more fuel, because we know those prices, well, they've been rising recently.
Yeah, 100%, especially where I live. Jeez, like £2. Jeez Louise. I drive a camper van. Like, I think it looks nice. It's great for Instagram, but it does half drink some fuel. They wouldn't be driving around Durango with that one, trust me.
Well, I don't think you get over any of the lumps and bumps in that thing, mate.
No way, no way. It's good to see a lot of these teams are now shifting. We're seeing a lot of people shifting to the centre, but we are seeing a couple of teams hang around on this sort of outsider zone, trying to work their way through. Bitfix for me, they need to, after those early deaths, round number 1, I feel like they'd be a bit disappointed. They want to maybe try and stay as a 4 and get into the end game, because we know they can put points on the board. So I feel like they're going to have to try and keep tight, work their way down, just take up a little bit of this zone, bit at a time, and just build up momentum as they start working their way in. Do you see a nice crash though? You see on the map there in the center, it looks like people are already starting to fight 4 compounds here. Toxic versus Tokyo.
Big white peak coming out there, but ready is
There's two.
Julian. That's huge. Tokyo Magic Gang, they're taking a lot of the damage here. And it does look like Toxic Players, they're on the offensive. They want some more points to say. Went out early doors last time. So did TMG, so they're not going to want the same to happen here. But it does look like it is going in favor of the Toxic Boys here.
Yeah, they've got the other points. Now, they only put 1 point on the board last round, so they need to continue that momentum. They've got another knock back, but they've received one in return. They're going to want to try and close this fight nice and quickly. Oh, and he's dropped a nade on himself. Oh, lucky not getting the finish off there, down to a 1. 2-on-1 now. Oh.
That should be followed up as now we've got Bitfix. They hear it. They watch the kill feed. They're coming in as now the utility comes up and over from Ironic. Tokyo Magic Gang, will they go out early doors yet again? 16th place. And already we have got teams exiting this lobby. 2 down for Toxic Players. And I talked about that kill feed watching. I would assume that's exactly what Bitfix have done. But they're being a little bit slow here. They're not jumping in. They're not diving in. Of course, they went out pretty early last time. They don't want to do the same again. So they're just assessing the situation. But that is in turn allowed the Toxic Players to get back up on their feet, back as a 4, and now they can face the threat head on.
Yeah, it's a 4-on-4 again. But if you notice on that map there, people on that sort of south, on that sort of bottom right hand side of your screen, we saw the guys now creeping their way in. Grindmore and Pink Pony again, also lurking on the outside of that potential fight. We saw we conquered. Got the high ground here on Formation Gaming, who are laying low. The swamp is a good place to hide out. And as we know, remember they are now down to a 2-man, so they get shots on, but coming up, down to 1, and out we go.
So previous games winners going out, but 1 from last in the game at number 2, and we are already down to 14 teams, and this area is getting very, very occupied and busy. Now, the thing that I'm looking at here is these teams coming into close contention, but that circle shift, that phase number 2 was a little bit kinder.
Yeah, it's kind of donuted up now, really, isn't it? So these teams will be happy. Toxic will be happy they're in the compound. Now they're back to a 4. Again, a team that settles really quickly and able to change between certain fights. I think they'll be happy. They've already deterred away a little bit. I don't think they know who they're fighting, so they won't know that knocks come in there from BFG, so they won't be pushing. I think if it was a little bit different, if they had a knock or had received a knock from BFG, I think it might have been a different attack, and we might see Toxic get a bit more aggressive coming out of this combat.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something.
Nice point on the board there from no tags. Again, they not struggle with the points, but only picked up 2 points last round, or the first round, should we say. So again, another team that want to get some points on the board. And you mentioned BFG, they didn't push in quick enough to the third party here, so they're going to find a bit more of an uphill battle, and that zone shift has come away from them as well, so it might force them now into that compound. We see they've taken out that sort of bottom side of your screen. They've got to go through. They are holding on to the sliver of zones, but look what's behind them. Pink Pony, Grindmore, all need to work their way in.
They do indeed, and now this compound that was looking pretty central and whereas housing 2 teams is now on the edge and not very viable for much longer, so this is going to cause a fight, and we can see how many teams are on the outside looking in as Julian trying to do his best 3-point turn and getting the drift on in. But as we're going to flip on
nice and safe there, he knows that teams are going to try and play in, but they want to have the options to be able to play out this one, because if it does shift away from them up to that hill, into that field, they're going to want to get up the high ground quickly.
They are indeed. And look, we can already see V27 doing just that, going up, getting their vehicles and getting up to that high ground that we like to call Dog Hill.
Yeah, they're going to... All the high ground favour later games. Grindmore's on the rotation round. You can see them now on the map. And just as they've briefed across here, Bitfix will ensure they won't try and crash into them. But they will try and play into that McDonald's compound you talk about. Again, even that single stat that I spoke about on that east of that, just hold on to the zone. Might be able to pick up some kills on any other team that rotate in. But lucky at Llama Hill, but Dog Hill or Llama Hill, as the teams now start to push themselves up there, they will actually be able to close the door now on top of the BFG. They're going to have to get out of this compound after. Nice 2-2 split from Grindmore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Quick peeks coming out there, but damage done in both exchanges. But look at this. Grindmore with that 2-2 split. Well, they had the shots. They didn't like being shot at on rotation. And they've turned their eyes and attention over and might be about to gatekeep what they think might be one team, but in fact is two, so they could reap some very heavy rewards here. And talking about reaping rewards, the Reaper man himself, Hyman, gets involved as he gets down one of the friends guys.
Yeah, good knock. Really, really good knock. That's why they're not moving yet. I think Toxic might dominate them and just control them into this sort of corner compound, because you kind of know they're not going to get zoned. Now, I might eat my words there, but you kind of hope that the zone's going to play a little bit away from this and you've got to hope play a little bit further in. Brando, bottom of Llama Hill, or Dog Hill as you call it. Again, a hard uphill battle, as long as they control teams coming in from behind. If the gamers, though, are again trying to alert, but with Grindmore with that 2-2 split, that's going to favour them. We're trying to control all these teams coming out this sort of northeast corner.
It is getting very congested. We can see that again from that mini map that Grindmore, they've got in. They are really wanting to get involved in this, and they are going to do just that as they keep Ironic sleeping on the side there. Meanwhile, Hyman still going at it on the Friends voice as he gets Sahar down as well. But this is a little bit of a standoff that needs to kind of hurry up now, because that zone now is against their back. Oh, no, it's keeping the compound in, so potentially this fight can rage on for a little bit more. But it is BFG that need to push forward now.
Yeah, they're going to be disappointed. I feel like they're going to be going, we should have moved at the same time we heard Grindmore moving. We should have either moved before them. Now they have to go through, but they're going to have Grindmore with that 2-2 split. Two of the guys out on that sort of compound we're looking at now are just going to stop their momentum going forward into Toxic.
Indeed, and it's going to get harder, and the longer this fight drags on, the more lines of sight, the more eyes and reticles, and 556 that's going to find its way into them.
There goes Toxic getting a knock as Grindmore go in a little bit aggressive on Toxic, and they feel that Toxic flavour. Nice kill and confirm off with a grenade. Again, still a lot long distance shot coming through. You have to get the movement going. They received the first knock. There's that confirm as well.
So down to 2 players now for BFG. It's not quite gone the way that they wanted. They crashed in with the intention of wiping the Toxic players while they were just down to 2. And it's going to be the exact reverse of that as BFG. Well, they've got just 2 players up. Meanwhile, we're going to jump onto another fight on Dog Hill. And it is going to be those pink ponies. They didn't get any points in the last one. They topped the group yesterday. So a little bit of reverse fortunes for them. And it looks like they've already got 1 player on their knees. They are trying to hold out. Again, Ace's crew. This is a monstrous team. And a team that I enjoy personally watching all of the individual players for. And that Purdy is going to spot one sleeping as he just tries to get the heel off. But the Squirtle squad, the Squirtle gang member, he gets in his shell and behind a tree quick enough to evade the knock there.
Yeah, it's a hard, steep hill to get up here. And the Squirtle gang's doing the right thing. He's pumping because he can hear the action that's unfolding above him. So he's getting ready to cut. The Aces crew holding up. Looks like we saw we conquered. They're stopping any teams that are coming around. There's Solo wrapped around in that sort of southwest corner. They're just trying to find a little home for them to live in. Pink Pony down to floor 1. Ooh. Ace's crew again on the hold as they coming back as Purdy goes back to where he was before. Pink Pony been eliminated with Cran and V27 picking up the kills.
Oh, Pink Pony go out in 14th once again as Cran. They are applying pressure and the numbers are starting to fall as everyone is getting corralled into the same sort of area. I think V27 getting in the mix as well, and No Tag just sitting in the middle of the field, absolutely bullying Friends as they've had to make the best of a bad situation, and that bad situation is just about to get worse as O'Connie lends a hand to Michael Bay in his next film by exploding that and getting a double confirm.
They are just pushing and love pushing, and they've done the momentum of push. Good shots, killed. Oh my god,
Michael, stop it!
Disgusting Cran. Mate, Toxic, I like Grindmore. Oh, Friends eliminated. Teams are going down. We just had a huge drop. We're down to 10 teams now. 27 left. We're only 19.5 on the clock. We're going to see another early game.
I think we are, mate, and looks like Sakura Sensen, well, they've heard all the action, they've heard all the bloodshed that's just happened down on the compound next to Quarry, and they went in, they come up, they try and crest up and over, but unfortunately, JR is there ready just to spray off, just to push back the attention, but now firmly on the edge of zone, they have the arduous task of not only clearing their backs from the remaining Squirtle squad member, Squirtle gang, I'm going to keep saying that, I'm sorry, it's just what I grew up on, but they've got V27 up the hill from them, and as soon as they start cresting up to take that fight to get up into zone, Sakura Sensen from that west-hand side, they're going to have eyes on them as well as they start cresting and getting further up that hill. And look at this, Sakura Sensen, they're getting aggressive. 1-2 tap. It's good night. Squirtle Gang are eliminated. We're into placement points in 20 minutes again.
Yeah, back. I told you today is going to be spicy. It is that first part of the game is going to be hectic. The middle will slow down a little bit, and the end will then just steam through. We saw that on game 1, and that end game is not even getting to the end game. We're finishing on bases 6 and bases 7 at the moment, and it is hectic. Nice knocks those. Ghetto Gang eventually pick up the McDonald's compound and get a nice kill confirmed off BFG as they lose one.
Yeah, BFG lose another one, confirmed on out. Balti being rained on out as Ivo gets ejected from the lobby and down to a top 7. A slightly better game. Points on the board there for BFG, but still not what they wanted. Toxic players doing a mad dash. 9 kills then. Oh, that was an observer bug. The fire wasn't actually still there as he manages to get into that shack. Jam goes down, and B27, well, they are just bullying. As I said, Ace's crew as they try and come up and over the hill. Michael does find Salty though, but is taken away by that Balti that we just talked about as Ace's crew. They go out. We're down to our top 6 teams, 20 minutes on the clock. And I think we're going to have to start talking like rapper auctioneers here to keep up with the amount of action that's being on our screen as another knock comes through from Leosh.
Yeah, Skursen's going down to zone. We saw a little sandwich there between them. B27 as unfortunately Ace's crew got the jam in the middle, so to speak. But again, Toxic just coming straight up on the mountain. They've split out. They've taken the tower. They've taken middle shack. They've taken the high ground as well. They are looking to go through. They got 9 kills on the board at the moment. They know the zone's going to come down to here, and it looks like they're going to try and pick up as many kills as they can. As everyone's trying to take a little bit of zone off now. The shots coming through. Tekka puts down to 1s. Look at the split with Toxic. Great split.
Just about to pick that up. Look at the zone control they've got. It's huge. And let's think about it. Just about 10 minutes ago, they had 2 players up on their feet. They had 2 teams surrounding them. And now look at the control they have. Sheila and O'Connor in tandem, taking out the 3Vs, Vendi Vici. And they are doing so well. 9 kills on the board of Toxic, and they didn't really have any right. Oh, V27, they're going down 1-2. Tekka's just laying waste, and no, it's a DC here. And it looks like they're going to be eliminated or just sleeping. And through no fault of his own, Tekka's collecting a lot of points here. And Tekka's way lives up to his name in a lot of ways, and his mechanical ability as mechanical Tekka's is on point today. But this zone shift, wow. Could it be any more purple? Could it be any more Toxic?
Toxic all day, consistency. They're spreading themselves out. They're not quite sure which way it's going to go. They're putting themselves in positions that they can potentially bounce off of getting into the zone. But the zone's done them a favour. It's tracked back down to the Toxic players. And look, not 7 points on the board. And they've been defending that compound, kind of coming out like a crazy dog and just stopping people anywhere getting close to him with his nades and util. Unfortunately now, I've got to make a shift in. Nice and tight. I feel like they're going to come to the south side and they're going to work their way to Skursensen, and looks like
it's Tekka's waiting for him to come back in.
Tekka's just wants another kill, mate. He's just like, there's the player right in front of me. I can take him. But
I think it would still count. I think he's just waiting for the moment that he sees the movement.
There he goes. Oh my days. Tekka's, that is disgusting, man.
We've talked about the zone control that Toxic have had, but I think the biggest Toxic player is Tekka's right now.
I am surprised he didn't get a pan out and started hitting the player.
Great shot from out from Jacko though. It is going to be a siege from the Ghetto Gang, and 1 goes down, 2 goes down. It's just 1 left. The April trying to get the nade up and over the 3x on the M4, and it's going to be nades of their own now raining down onto that Dacia.
It's gone out. He's to stick a little bit left. It rolls down that hill, but no, JG's underneath the car. 3-pack, Jekka, 13 points. I hope you don't underestimate these boys. Toxic pushing in hard as we're now down to 3 teams. Toxic with a 4-man and zone control. Not now with a 3. And Pekka's 1-man army is now going to try and pick himself up and work out where the knock is.
That is a beautiful flank as we go down to our top 2 teams, and it's a 3v4. And for me, this has been all Toxic, and they are just absolutely decimating this lobby. 13 kills on the board, and it's been another quick one. It has been another very quick one, and I think it could be about to be exactly the same. But we see No Tag, they're doing the right thing. They're trying to get up the hill. They're trying to break those lines of sight. And not only that, get the high ground. 2 members down low. They've got the anchor trying to move up into a more favorable position. But the Overwatch has to be there. And Toxic, they can't count No Tag out. They are devastating on their day. But they do have someone hugging that very south side of the zone. And it's brilliant play.
Yeah, they're only down a number, but numbers in these end zones could not mean anything. With that wrap on that sort of south side, but Toxic, he's just hanging out there. It's going to be down to the first knock, I feel now. It might slow down just a little bit, not with those tag shots as Toxic have the high ground. Looks like Not is now trying to make a play in. It is going to be an interesting ending, but I fear it's going to be Toxic. Don't take anything away from Not, as they held that compound so well for so long, and they picked up 8 kills in the process. Oh, what a knock, though. We're now to a 4-on-2. Is the door going to close down? As you see Toxic getting the cars, they are now flanking their way around. The zone shifts heavy north.
Oh, he's just there, ready. It's just one player up now as he had the pitter-patter of footsteps. We saw him switch from that 3x to the red dot flux, going up and over, just trying to disorientate. And just like that, winner, chicken dinner, 16 kills, 26 points on the board. And Toxic, wow, what a game it is from them as they come in and just set it ablaze again. Another game that ended in zone number 6. I think we're speed running tonight.
100%, and let's not take anything away, because both of those players were 12th and 13th on the old leaderboard, right? They were low point games, but then come after game 1, coming to game number 2, outstanding games.
Fantastic play from that, and again, I think the circles for Erangel, they have been brutal, taking out first of all 30%, and then secondly 60% of zone number 1. They force that chaos, they force that pace. Things might be a little bit of a breather. There's far less water on Miramar, and Miramar is where we're going to be. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will have game number 3. Don't go anywhere.
All clear on the roof. Heading back down.
Roger. Hurry up. We need to move.
Just make sure I don't take a bullet in the back.
Looking good. Keep it steady.
I hear footsteps. I got a bad feeling.
Enemy spotted. Move! Move!
You're going up next time.
There won't be a next time.
Oi, Amelia, what's the deal then?
2 up top, 2 downstairs.
All right, so we just go prancing in the front door as per usual then, huh?
Not today, hermano. We must be like ghosts. Trust me, these will do the trick. The fog of war. Remove all visibility. We take them out one by one. They won't know what hit them.
Oi, who's that behind you? Look, here's what we do. Surprise attack. We go in big chicken dinner style through the window, guns blazing.
You mean like in Miramar?
Oh, shit. Enough. First, we smoke out the first floor. But we'll need a distraction. Something super loud and obnoxious.
Right, I see where this is going.
Don't worry, Aziz. I got your back.
So, where to next?
Welcome back, ladies and gents. And well, ground zero from Playtonia and Mates GG. It has been insane so far. My goodness, the action has been fast, it's been furious, it's been chaotic, and we're only 2 maps in.
Yeah, talk about quick games, game 1, game 2. We spoke about it. It was all about that. Who can lay the law down over this sort of best of 5 over 2 days, best of 10? But geez, mate, talk about, like, for me, Toxic had a bad first game, right? I know I backed them out early doors, but talk about actually pushing themselves up. And obviously, we're going to flip ourselves over to the scoreboard now. But talk about one game making a difference there for teams. And with no surprise, obviously, Toxic, my team, like, rocketing up that sort of left-hand side.
Yeah, big game from them, takes them up to the top spot. No tag, though, they get a decent amount of kills. They were insane in the middle of the open there, just raining hellfire down on utility, bringing them up to second place with 14 kills. A lot of our teams that had those banging starts in the first game, well, they've dropped down substantially, but Securus Ensign, they pulled themselves up. They had another great game, 11 kills, 11 points on the board. V27 with 9 on the board. Sorry, this is actually the map.
It's just
the score for that map. Yeah, just that map one. Sorry, yeah. So big game again from them. V27, Ace's crew having another big game. Ghetto Gang as well, adding another 6 points to their total. Kran, they get 5 on the board. VVV on 5 as well. Pink Pony, they get some points on the board this time. Formulation Gaming, they get another 2 points, and it's another 2 kill points to add to the 2 they had previously, but those 10 placement points they had. Bifix Gaming get 2 on the board. Squirtle Gang with 1, Solo with 1, and the other 3 teams get 0. So I think we can we go over to the overall leaderboard?
We were when the guys turned up, but yeah, good game from NoTag. Don't take anything away from that team because they held that compound. And do you know what as well? They came out their compound to ensure that people didn't get close to them. They wanted that zone to push that back towards them. They're just a bit unfortunate, but I think they've done really well in that game.
They did. And like I said, they came out in the complete open, just raining hellfire down with utilities. I can't believe they got away with that. It was such a ballsy move with no cover. And it was a good, 100 meters away from that compound. But Techers. My man is on a roll. And so is Jacka. Wow. 9 kills for the pair of them. And then we've got the Ghetto Gang. Well, they're rearing their head. And it's looking at the bottom 3 of the 5. It's 666, the number of the beasts.
Yeah, look, and on the other side, though, Jacka obviously with 5 knocks. So again, not just getting the kills, but also putting the knocks in there. And again, no surprise, both these names up at the top here. And look at the damage out of both of them. Jeez.
Yeah, insane. 1,220, 1,140, near enough. Michael still sitting up there, just under that 1,000 point damage mark. And very close to Shigan as well. Leosh rounds out the top 5 there on damage. And these are some impressive numbers for just 2 games, might I add, in a very competitive lobby. It's insane. It is great. And it's what I love to see.
Yeah, survivor skill, great. Player rotation is great. No tags obviously putting themselves out. And remember, on the overall leaderboards, we were just talking about, not the match leaderboard, but one game flip some of these teams back around. No tags putting themselves back in the contention. Toxic putting themselves on top of the leaderboard. So we've got another Erangel coming up. We've got Miramars then after for the 2, and hopefully we're going to see another hectic bit of action because what was it, phase 7 on both of them? Phase 7 to phase 8?
I think it was phase 6 on the first game and phase 7 on the second game. Yeah, so crazy, absolutely wild. So we've got a minute left until we sign that passport, as we like to say, and get ourselves back into Erangel, the greener pastures, the grass between our toes for the last time. But yeah, that leaderboard has been shaken up. If you want to see that leaderboard, you can type in exclamation point leaderboard at any time to see that leaderboard if you're curious as to what's going on and you want to do that mental math during the game. But another command we've got going on is exclamation point giveaway. And
that's the big one.
Well, it's a big one. And you know what? I'm going to roll it. I'm going to find out who our second one is. It is going to be Kid Curus. So you need to send me a DM and I will send you over a code for that. And we will get you some skins sent over your way. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to get into that exclamation point giveaway. Go through, click the links, and then get yourself some cheeky little skins to rep in game, because we all know,
I need it.
Skins mean wins, right?
Hey, 100%. 100%. My player at the moment is looking bare. I wish I was watching, not casting, but do you know what? Actually, I'm just glad I'm watching the games. It is going to be hectic as we roll into game number 3.
So game number 3. Yeah, I'm for the players' sake, for their mental, because of how crazy these games have been so far, I'm kind of hoping and praying for a little bit more of a central circle. Now, we talked about how these players adapting on the fly. Yeah, no, I don't really. I'm just saying it for the camera thing. We talk about, having to see these teams adapt to the crazy circles, to limited land, real estate, ridges, dips, hard compounds, hard cover being available. We talk about it being exciting. We talk about the bloodshed and how quickly these lobbies have been dissipated. For me, some of the best PUBG is when there is so much open, when everything's on even terms, when everyone's got the best gear and they can rotate and they get that freebie, and it's just everyone on their best day with their best gear taking the fights on even terms, because then you really see the mechanical skill, those micro plays, those micro adjustments coming down. You really see the IQ of the players, that chess game with guns, as I like, chess with guns is what I like to call it. And those even center circles, they allow you to see a little bit more of that.
It's all about those cheeky rotations, those aggressive pushes. I don't care if someone's super stacked. I want to see someone pushing, crashing compounds, taking the action. We're seeing it from Ace Crew already. Like, they have been like driving around. They've been putting some miles on those daisies, and you guys did that already. But I want to see some hard action. I want to see some crazy zone shifts, and more importantly, I want to see the players getting nice early kills, as we saw game 1 and game 2. But he's just going to send the leaderboard crazy. So I'm pumped. I'm excited for game 3.
So am I. And talking about that, well, the game feed isn't coming. I got a little note from the producer in the air there, and look at that plane. And let's have a look and see what this one's got in store for us, as we got that lovely little panoramic view. Well, it's near enough the same flight path.
Yeah, it's a bit more to that north side though, so I think teams will be more happy with this. Whereas we saw TM have to take a longer drop though, pushing for North Georgiapol. They'd be happy because they got a nice early drop out and be able to get less time in the air, more time looting. Now, it didn't affect them, let's be honest, by that rotation, but I think teams will be happy with this one from a zone point of view. Could we see him in the islands? I hope so. I fear you might be right. We might see him more of a centralized position, but Solo out nice and early. V27 going down, 3 Vs, normal drop zone for them. Akira Sensing are going to be taking up Pachinki. Ace going to be dropping down for Ferry Pier. Looks like there's no change on the drop zones, as teams will be spreading themselves out quite nicely now, waiting for this zone to pop.
Indeed, and so will we with bated breath, especially after the last 2 zones that we've got, as they have been chaotic, they have been unfair, and they have not been filled with an awful lot of land from the get-go. But it does look like we might potentially have some hot drops of cars up and around Apson School. It does look like it is going to be pretty peaceful. We got Leos there in Roshok. He's going to get the first vehicle up and in.
Don't forget, guys, we're waiting for the turn to pop. Don't forget exclamation mark giveaway in chat. We still have giveaways to be throwing out there at random, and you will see us on stream. So yeah, get yourself in a chance to win some gear. And obviously, thank you very much, everyone that's been tuning in and watching.
Thank you so much, and a massive shout out to Mates and Playtonia. Ground Zero has been amazing so far, and yeah, can't wait to see what is going to happen in these last 3 games today and the next 5 tomorrow.
It's the best of 2 days, really. 5 today, 5 tomorrow. It's going to be, it's a long haul, but again, you want to put the points on the board. And no surprise, we said it earlier on about these guys and girls taking a nice early fight, and that, unfortunately, is a horrible zone shift again. Playtonia and HGG for Ground Zero have been paying off the PUBG gods, and they have been saying water, water, water. And again, we see a heavy northwest on the zone shift, with a huge amount of water going in and creeping its way towards North and South Georgiapol. I think most of the IGLs here will opt for more of a south side, or that sort of southeast corner. So I think we're going to see a few stack ups. I think Everest, for me, is going to be a huge testament for teams that might want to try and play up there. It's kind of where I'd be sort of situated if I was IGL in a team. But we do have the curveball. It could go north. I've seen it shift down towards the sort of pull back away from the water, have Everest in. Everyone commits to Everest and the road below it where they take the high lows, etc., and in around Gatka. And then suddenly phase 3, phase 4, it just shifts north and we see a massive migration across those bridges. Hopefully, we're going to see it.
So yeah, I think like what you said, Playtonia and mates, GG. The circles have been brutal so far. Again, another one. I've been kind of. I could be to blame here. I said I like these West Hand side circles, and it's been all that. So yeah, fun everywhere, and water more so in the point here. But yeah, it's an interesting point that Everest, like you said, I think there is going to be a massive hotbed of activity. It's not only great to have the high ground, as we've already discussed tonight. That high ground up in Everest, you can scout, but you can also just press and lay down damage. You might be able to steal some knocks on the compounds that are being crashed in and around Everest, which, of course, being that high, you have magnificent lines of sight onto.
Yeah, look. And do you know what I'll add to that? 100%. I agree 100% with that. And one thing I'll add as well is about timing. And it's about, are the teams going to now shift early and get to that high ground? Do they believe it's going to end on Everest? Have they got other game plans? Let's not take that away from a factor point of view. But also some teams that don't go up Everest soon, but they follow other teams up on that second, that third sort of crash. Actually, do you know what? They might be able to pick up the backs of some teams that are really focused and engaged on fighting up in Everest. And when actually they can pick up the backs and packs of people and get some good kills. Nice shot there as 3Vs rotate past Solo, and this is their normal area. They like the school, they like the hospital and that South George. They are very averse to defending this one up.
Yeah, and you talked about timing just a second ago, and I have seen teams take up Everest a little bit too early. Now, what that entails means that teams can come from the western side and the eastern side, and you can get sandwiched in. And yes, being on that high point is fantastic, but when the low ground is so fruitful with rocks and crevices to hide on, as soon as you're in that sandwich, it is very hard to get on out. Even if you send it down that mountain in a vehicle. Oh, we're talking about a crash, though, as Senya primes that nade. And now, Solo, you talked about how well they defend. And Senya, well, he's going to open things up with a pre-nade onto Salty.
He's got to try and hold it as best he can. Side of 1, 2 is he's defending hard in this compound now. Utility. We always say it ends end games, but you know what? Which one crashes as well. Unfortunately, it actually backfired on him as we see Secure now drop one back. Solo have to get in this quickly, and we always see Ascend now. They've got the knocks, they need to defend their boy, but they also need to ensure that Secure don't get the reses in. They've lost one. Nice crash here from Solo.
Oh, no. Third party coming in from Shro, and it's TMG that are making a difference in this fight as now Souls does move forward, and it is going to be Tekkas. No, gets Tekkas down with the molly, and oh, no. Unfortunate there as the bleed outs come through, and it is a Mollo that ends that party, and might have been a little bit of a barbecue party. I mean, I know it's the weather for it, but TMG, the real spoilers there, coming in and taking away any thought of reinforcements presence from Solo there. Senya's going to be picked back up. They got 3 kills on the board, but they're going to have to live and fight another day, and now TMG know that they are weakened, and they are very much on the back foot for what's about to happen.
Yeah, I don't know if TMG know the full count for Solo, but they're great time on the third party. And as we see on that sort of map now view, on the right-hand side of your screen, a lot of the teams are what we call donutting up. They're going to the middle of zone. No one's taking Everest just yet because they might think they're coming in a bit too late. We might hopefully see no tags hold that sort of north side. They might play for a shift going back to the north. They might then just try and play their back in, but also Toxic, putting themselves in some great positions. 2 on one side, 2 on the south side. They're waiting for rotations, whether teams commit to north or south, and they're hoping that zone will be back to that northeast corner.
Indeed, they are. That cube area is amazing to hold for not only gatekeeping rotations, but of course, if that zone does shift back on up north. And, I said I wasn't into the chaotic ones, but when there's this finite amount of land and it does get to that later stage in the game and it does a yoink on up north, I'm for it. I'm not going to lie to you. Now we see Ace's crew. We got the big boys here, and there's a big split going on from V27 as they lay the shots into Maiko, and he does eat 55 damage there. Ace's crew, though, they've identified the split, and they potentially know it's just 2 members left defending the flat spot as they send it on in. And, the first kill goes in the favor. Oh, it's a knock onto Jam with a bolty from miles away. As the rest of V22, they lie, they wait the ambush, but now coming around, Purdy goes down. Oh no, Michael goes down, but JR is there to answer the call. Purdy does do even more work as well, as he's going to be flushed on out and things falling apart very, very quickly. And Purdy has to get his boys back on the feet because it looks like reinforcements are coming, and it is going to be 27 V27 and the 3Vs in very close contention, prioritizing these reses though. And it looks like they're going to be able to get up, dust their shoulders off. But look at this. V27, they waited a little bit. There is enough time to pick players up, and they might even get it up with the covering coming in. But no, it gets sent straight on in. Jam is going to get the refrag immediately, as Poro is the last player up, and so is Jam. It comes down to a 1v1. Nades are going to rain in now on this bottom half of the garage, just trying to confirm out those kills, confirm out those points. But how long are they going to be allowed to live to do this and fight on even terms? Good flash coming out there as he dips on over outside the window, just being masked by the footsteps there of that flash. Now bringing him down to 6 HP. He's gone into the corner to heal, but what can Jam do? Can he get the lines of sight? Can he get the angle to finish this one up? Goes back up to 75 HP. Catches the player as now it's utility on utility warfare. Jam dipping, dodging and diving around as he goes into the vehicle, and it's fantastic play from Jam. Sits in there, switches to the seat 2, leads out the window and catches him off guard. Damage is done, so great reactions there from Poro. But now the reses are going to come out, and it is going to be only 2, but 3 players for this team are a absolute menace to lobbies.
Oh my god, just break that down again. He smashed the window with his hands in order that he chucked the flash in, then jumped out of it, so the sound animation didn't come through the smash window, then tucked the guy in, and the comms, 100% comms come from the last 2 players there on where the final player was running through, and that move through their car, outstanding play. Click that and send me to Twitter.
Yeah, insane. And I said about chess with guns, right? That was thinking 3 moves ahead. Like you said, breaking the window, so when he actually jumped, didn't give him away. Throwing the flash, which then blocked the drop coming out the window to then go in. Comms are on point. A masterclass there. Yes, they lost 1 player, but the chips were down. It was rough and it was chaotic, and it's just living up to ground zero with the chaos.
Yeah, he lost 1, gained 3. So let's go pick up those kills. We did see, obviously, we saw, we conquered. You can see on the screen they were taking the shots though, as V27 were pushing in, just unable to get the connect. But it might have just forced them into a position where they had to try and think about pushing in that fight. Ace, but Ace capitalizing. That is great play. This is why I cast. Watching pros players like that, it is outstanding.
Indeed, it's it just shows that not only have these guys got the mechanical skill, but they've got the forward thinking to put themselves in favourable situations when the chips are down. Grind more. Well, they're going to be laying in as Bob is going to get Rafa down from no tag as the circle has shifted again. And it looks like it was that cube kind of area that we were looking at as Cran, well, they're getting some shots as Hakatori's going to peek on out and over.
Yeah, that shift's gone down south, we can see. So the teams are now getting in their vehicles. They want to try and play down. They've got to try and get some real estate. And yeah, Grindmore and No Tag seem to be in the receiving end because they were both top sides. And what I fear now is that teams now playing in, as we see Cran, they're crashing into the compounds at the bottom. Grindmore coming over by Cube. They've got to pick up some real estate. Cran nice and quick, trying to get this real estate in and capitalize on the flats. This garage is going to be good for them to hold. They're going to be able to play this one and keep their cars safe. No tags, and they might be late on this one. They'll be careful how they come in.
Yeah, and yeah, that flat top compound really good, but there are a lot of lines of sight, and you can actually be picked off from up the top of Everest. So they have got to have their head on a swivel and keep very conscious of their angles. No tag though, just going to skirt over and dip on into crates to try and get into this as we bring up the map feed. And there's a lot less water in there, but there is still water in there, Mark, and it looks like everyone's pretty well established. I mean, there wasn't a lot more places where anyone could go in this kind of circle. Oh, absolute send going across the water there from No Tag at the top from George. I love seeing little things like that on the mini-map. Little moments like that where you just see someone just shift W it across a lake trying to evade the lines of sight. But yeah.
Formulation gaming backfilling both those teams. Now, the question is, are Toxic No Tags, are they going to be able to spot what time does Formulation Gaming come over? Because the real estate's now taken. So if they come across, they're either going to try and hold and get a knock and make the push. If they get the knock, you'd expect it to be on like maybe No Tags, who are going to have to try and play through Toxic. Toxic are going to hold those containers. it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. And we see it shift away from containers quite a lot. And people that sit on Everest will be eventually be able to pick up those kills.
Yeah, so for me, there's another option as well. And of course, we've got Toxic and No Tag in the crates. And as soon as they start contending with each other, the shots are going to be relayed. The audio cues are going to be relayed to Formulation Gaming, who are sitting across. Yes, they're inside zone. Yes, they have a staging platform. But they also know that Cran took the flat top because they've got players set up to get eyes on that. Now, what that says to me is we have 3 teams to go through here. We have to run the gauntlet. We can't go left because we'll go straight into Cran. We can't go right because we're going to go into 2 teams. Do we risk it and take a wide rotate and actually go across North George Bridge? Because they can scout it. They can find out how much more viable that is. Circle has shifted once again, and those crates are still trickling in. But I think it's going to be Everest. That's the center point.
It's actually gone down a little bit further than that. It's actually playing to the field where Squirtle Gang will be happy with this. It's come back to them. Now, this area is a hard defend, even as a 2-2 split. I think field teams will crash, especially on that west-hand side of it, and they'll try and play in. I think the will Crown now lose this one. These guys are back in for an effort. Oh, here we go. Friend trying to defend off. It was there. Grime will push up on this sort of east side. Down to a 2s.
Nord coming down and around, but absolutely gets clapped as well. And any Bods is left. He is holding the line. Bob go down to him after getting Nord kills, but he has to dip and dance. And that is going to be it, friends. Well, they're eliminating. There's going to be no remastered series for them. But I did see another name getting involved in that as now Grindball. Well, they're being sieged, and it's by the Crown Boys.
Yeah, they've made the call to go up Everest and play at the top. Formation Gaming have also done the same, as they made a massive play from that north side of the river at that time and took the high ground. Cran need to answer that question, but I don't know if Cran are aware that they're actually stuck in a bit of a Grindmore and Formation Gaming sandwich. And it is going to be horrible.
This is what I talked about. Your timing on Everest. You have to be picture perfect with it. And I don't think they know it's Hawkey's going to get the first one on Hugatory. Oh, the second one comes out. Oh, Atomical gets absolutely slapped, though. But it's a 1, 2, 3. And now, looking at this, Toxic players, they're getting involved. They're taking shots. And now they're lapping up these kills as Haran are eliminated in but the blink of an eye. And 3 kills on the side of Toxic. Formulation going to get some on the board. And they should be able to get their reses on and up.
Good. A long distance. 3 on the pack. We're phase 3. 104 on the clock. 12 teams up with 44 players. And they are still picking up some decent shots now. Formation Gaming trying to get high. That is horrible. If anyone doesn't know, it's hard to get up there. Even Crouch walking up there is hard without having a player shooting you.
Oh my.
Formulation then getting tabbed out as Toxic. Put number 4 on the board.
They do, but I did see another big fight ensuing. It's going to be Aces or ripping apart the 3Vs there. I think it was. But
no, not come off. Tokyo, remember they came lurking on the compound for Soda, but they backed away. They opted to take that bit of real estate, so good play for them. And it's now going to might start to phase off. Grindmore, big wrap away. They've opted not to go through Everest. They've got in their cars and backed away. That's a smart call. Sometimes people get narrow-minded and tunnel vision. They just continue to push forward. That's a bit of time to stop and think. Actually, do you know what? This is not the right play for us. We can hear the fighting up top. We need to get away from it. We need to get into a better zone. Currently sitting 14th place. We need to get some more kills and more placement points on game number 3 now.
So circle shifts once again as we reach zone number 4, and we saw that those boys from Aces, well, they did have 6 kills on the board, so they did confirm out another 2, I believe. And the circle has shifted once again, and it looks like, whoa, it's just a precipice of that Everest. But where Solo, they defended so well previously as the 2-man army. Well, look at BitFix Gaming. They've got themselves snuggled in to the doubles there, and they are center zone. And it is going to be so hard for everyone. And we've got a sea of blue up by that observatory tower, and that's going to come to a big clash in just a few moments. But look at the send coming in from TMG. They're sending it on into Solo. The drive-bys, cars crash unanimously. Pre-nades come out, and Senya once again opens things up onto Shro. And they know exactly how many people was here because they had an influence in the first crash.
This is the return of this fight. Solo not getting away from it, but they're getting the first knock in as a 2. They've got a good split. Util is just coming through. His nade down while he's just range fire. Oh, he's gone for a wall hack. Oh my, that is disgusting. Great knock there. TM down to a 1-man. It's a 4-on-2. Just backfired in the team.
backfires. Wedges is going to peek on round and get souls down. That's one on the board, but now Big Senior, man, he's got to contend with. Here's the pin being pulled. That's a beautiful bit of play. He gets the audio cue from the pin being pulled on the nade and doesn't waste any time. He jumps out that window, gets that kill, potentially about to pick up some teammates, but Ghetto Gang, they are now getting involved. Hello My Bad gets flushed away as now Ace's crew, they've come in towards that observatory kind of area, and they are now laying fight onto those pink ponies. Michael, well, Purdy's going to go down instantaneously. Jamster in the car. Fights breaking out everywhere. Again, 18 minutes, 10 teams left, and it is getting chaotic once again, Mark.
Yeah, it is a lot of fights. There's some real estate here, which is Everest. See, BFG, as we saw, he was on the map feed. They just took that. They took that nice and early. That's good play from them. And then that sort of southwest corner that we're seeing with, well, the field, the mounds, the little radio beacon. It is going to be hectic. I am keen to see if Toxic. They've got one down. They've got one knocked. They've got to continue to push forward here, as he is going to pull away from Everest maybe. But Pink Pony are also on the defense here. Ace looks like they're backing away.
Oh, Michael is the only player left up for the Aces, but Xhaka gets taken down from range as Grime will get involved in this fight, and it might just buy a little bit of breathing room for No Tag here down in those trenches. Oh, he doesn't quite see him. Leos goes down and out, and Toxic, they're not going to get the back-to-back, and it's from the same team they were scrapping for second in the previous game.
Let's not know, that's 10th place as well. We've got teams up this round. We're on phase 4. We had less teams. In the last couple of rounds, we saw it really unfold in that sort of early game. The team's now getting prepared to, I suppose, a crash is inbound, as we see with BFG now. They are sitting centralized zones. We have phase 5. It has pulled back towards Everest. So I feel it might end up here. So these teams need to finish this one quite quickly, as Pink Pony, Squirtle Gang, and Ace are all in the sort of southwest corner.
Big shots coming in from Archie with that SKS, but it's going to receive some from the Squirtle Gang. Michael's still remaining in the conversation of this fight, just on the edge, and he might be about to catch them off guard, because I would assume Pink Pony think that they did enough work to push back the Aces player, and there he is, backfilling just like that. Michael with that M4 raining down, but he gets eliminated. The zone, though, is going to come in, and they now have to prioritize the res over fending off the Squirtle Gang. TMG, they're not done yet as they're getting backfilled from the 3Vs. Vindivici and Blazel with an aid gets one down onto TMG. Evens back up, is the hero of the hour. Weds as he gets one onto April, and this compound is just absolutely a graveyard at this point. Weds is doing more work than he should ever have to do. The Molo goes in trying to cut off his retreat to the back up top, and it's just going to lick on down. Can he survive? Can he remain outside? More teams now coming in, laying in the damage and potentially buying Ghetto Gang. Well, buying them a pass back to the lobby and buying Waze a free place into a free trip into those placement points.
This is going to be interesting. Which way does he jump over? He wants to figure out where the players are. Oh, just missed.
No way!
Got the player with the heat as well. Oh my days. GG's. Talk about defend. Obviously, 3Vs have been like third party in that for quite some time, but geez, mate, Tokyo are holding. And remember, early doors, they went to go crash that compound. They saw the fight with Solo. They picked up their kill, and then they made their timing well. Oh my god.
Wade? What, man? Your team better be buying you the beers tonight, because that was insane. What a brilliant display of individual talent that was. Oh, flawless, insane. The quick peeks around, knowing the building he was defending like the back of his hand, managing to survive that molly as it licked on down the stairs, putting him into a corner. Brilliant. But we still have 7 teams alive, and well, the Squirtle Gang, Squirtle Squad as I like to call them, they're on at the edge. They have a little dip. They're building those car forts.
That's a good placement for them. Good area for them. That's a good hold. They can play off that. They'll be able to get on the third parties really well. BFG won't obviously want to make the move, and it'll be a fight now for Everest. 3V is going to hold. Tokyo going to hold as well. There's no need really for them to do anything drastic. Not do they hold at the bottom there in that sort of northeast corner, or do they play up to grind more? It will be a IGL call, and I wouldn't want to be the person making that call, because that could be the difference between coming off the high ground and winning the game, or maybe going out a little bit early. But we are now in the placement points. So we have 7 teams remain, 18 people left, but we're on 22:30 on the clock, give or take. Little bit of a sporadic spree of action, but it is settling down slightly, as I feel like these teams will rethink about the positioning. It's about the next fight for some of these teams. They've got to win it, and then they've got to play their way in. And it's all about their timing on that win.
Indeed, but BFG, they have been gifted, as they couldn't be any more center if they tried, but it is a double-edged sword because that means everyone's looking in towards your compound and the lines of sight. Well, those windows, they get very uncomfortable very fast. Weisker sitting outside the compound, or Physics even, sorry, sitting outside the compound there. Ironix is going up to meet with him as they're going to try and oppress the pink ponies here. And we can't forget about the 3Vs remaining player and the man, the myth, the legend, the hero, Weds, as he's trying to evacuate his compound now and try and find some semblance of safety. But we still got teams skirmishing up on the hills, and I think this lobby is about to drop very, very quickly again with this circle shift.
Yeah, it's the play in now, really, isn't it? It's the rotations through. He had to try and make a ditch attempt in. He's got Pink Pony behind him. He wants to try and get up and down the fight. He's got BFG trying to tag him in. Don't forget that compound. They can't see very much up to that sort of northeast corner from there. They've got that big hill. So their attention will be solely focused on Pink Pony and DM. Down to a one shot here, Pink Pony. He's down. Good knock there from BFG. They get the flush, and they do.
Just one stallion left now in the ditch behind the blown up car, trying to use the utility to get rid of weights. Ironic trying to send a nade up and over, but it's actually going to be the 3Vs that land in the nade there. Ironics can get the damage there. It does look like he did a big chunk actually, but now the zone is going to become another enemy of Pink Pony, and Waits is the only one just on in, and that is going to be a denial to the zone. Box Bob is going to spot out that last player. Doesn't quite have the angle to get the arch, the bullet drop on over to try and take him out the lobby, but he pops on up, tries to get the smoke, and that's going to allow for at least one shot to hit here, as Grindmore still up high, still trying to remain on that high ground, and no tag. They've actually wrapped down and around and potentially might be trying to take this northwest side of the zone.
Yeah, it's a good play from no tag. They've left an anchor point, so if Grindmore do try and wrap up and over, good knocks there from Frenchy, that we might find the guys now of Grindmore come off this hill and play into that sort of southeast corner. Not obviously taking that northeast corner. They'll be able to wrap in. They've got to control 3V. BFG, as you said, they've been gifted with zone. Don't take anything away from them because they did push into that at the moment that zone popped. They knew exactly what they wanted to take and they took it quick.
They did indeed. But I feel like this game for BFG, if they do win, it might be very much like Formulation game from game number one. It might be very low kills, but those placements are going to be so big as Explicit finds that last Musketeer. And oh no! God. Beast slaps around the corner, and that's huge, but now everyone has eyes on him, and it's just becoming very uncomfortable. Wade's doing even more work as he finds Physics again. Oh, that man is on fire, as now Beast is going to confirm out the point, trying to get anything on. And it's just leaving O'Connell now on his lonesome, as he surges on forward, dumping that utility, dancing with the blue. Oh, the molly's good. It's just a little bit too late. The second one, though, is going to do that. It's a barbecue party, and it should be just GG's here. No, he out-survives it. No way. I thought the second one was going to finish him there. As now they do the do-si-do around the trees. And who's going to spot who first? Who gets the audio cue? Because they are on both a slither of HP, and that SLR or a barrel spray would be more than enough to exit both of these players.
He might get away for another one because Grindmore taking that anchor point away from not there. They're going to be looking, and they're only going to see the back of the not player. It'd be, I think, 3V. Getting great shots on. Might draw the attention of Grindmore as they are still lurking. As you can see on the map, though, he's down to a one shot. Grindmore,
you called it.
Good play. Grindmore capitalising it. Squirtle going to go for a full send. They know they want to try and hold that sort of west-hand side of the zone now. But it looks like BFG.
Oh, Otto,
disgusting.
Ivor, that's it. GG's, they've got to be out after that. No, somehow doesn't get the damage on the Squirtle gang in their shell, somehow surviving for another day. Noki does get confirmed out by Ivor, though, as now it looks like that Grindball from up high, they're going to be applying the pressure, but I'm still seeing that Wades is still alive. We're down into our top four, and it's a 4v4v, 1v1, and Squirtle gang and Weds, they've got nothing but a tiny little ridge to play. Bitfix Gaming, they have 4 up. They have that compound, but Grindmore with the high ground, with the ridge breathing down their necks and not letting them get too comfortable in their humble abodes.
As much as BFG have got the compound, as I said before, the problem with this compound is he said Grindmore can now play. They've cleared the side. They've done the hard work. They've done the graft. They've got this whole sort of northeast that side or the east side of this compound. They can go dodge, duck, and dive. They can come on the south side of it. They can go on the north side of it. They can really split. The only problem they're going to have is people like Frenchy who might pop up, Waves might pop up on the other side. And if they get sucked into the fight with BFG, they need to ensure they can try and clear out that kills. on the other side. And because remember, if they pop up and over, those guys in the field will have the free shots on them. But being both solo players, are they just going to try and maybe lay low and just hopefully try and get a second, try and get a third?
Yeah, it's that mutually assured destruction and letting the lobby do the work for it. I mean, I think Wade's had enough of fighting. He's done nothing but that all the way through. And to see him in fourth, well, the man deserves it. What a heroic performance. It does. It just looks like they're going to be able to do that. But what you said about them coming over, trying to dispatch a BitFix game, and yes, they have to silhouette, they have to crest the hill. And with they know that Frenchie's got an AWM in hand. They've already felt one of those Laguna Magnum rounds to the face, as we saw Grindmore going down to 3 players at one point, and that was at the hands of Frenchie. But look at Wade, battered, bruised, doesn't have a helmet on, a broken vest. BitFix now locking it down, thinking it's Fort Knox. They got 3 kills on the board, so if they can win this one out, it's looking pretty good for them, and it's the points that they want. As now Grindmore, they start to sweep down, and we've seen them systematically sweep and clear the sides of the circle, and I hear an MK.
Frenchie's got to crawl his way in, right? It's between Frenchie and Wade, who's going to potentially see each other. I feel like we're going to see the powerhouse, the battle houses, and let's not note, this is the first time we've made phase number 8. We will go all the way this round. The first out of all 3, we should go to the wire, as I feel like Grindmore, they've got the better positioning. They're going to be able to potentially dig out BFG. BFG, though, we know when we back people into corners can cause some issues, but I fear that because they're focusing so much and they know the players are on the other side of the map there, that they might get hit on the side.
Indeed, and the circle shifts, and well, it kind of takes a little bit of power away from the teams with all 4 members up and puts it a little bit more in the favor of the solos, as now they have to fight, because this realistically should end either in the middle of the road or over on the side of the 2 solos. It's going to be a weird one. It's going to be an entertaining one, and it's actually going to go all the way to time.
He stood up. He's
Frenchie,
gone for a run.
You madman!
He's got away with it as well. He put on his feet and he ran. Oh my God, he must have those running shoes on, because Frenchie booted it in towards home, and again, it would draw the attention back away from these powerhouses onto the other side of the road. And yeah, you're right. I think the favour has now gone for the solos. We've seen what one man can do twice over already. Good shots coming through. It's Grindmore just digging out a little bit of BFG on 3 kills. And we said this is earlier, game number 1 formulation gaming. They had centralized compound but didn't pick up the kills. Look at that, Toko Mars. He's in rags, no lid, pretty much no vest. He's happy. He's got his little. He's got his kill. Grindmore on 8 kills as well. They're going to pick up as much as they can, because remember, they're in 14th place on the leaderboard. And don't forget, exclamation mark leaderboard in chat, and can get you up to leaderboard. You can have a look at the stats and facts yourself. And exclamation mark giveaway. That's the important one, guys. Slam that in chat.
Right, all big shots coming out from Box Bob there, but it's going to give the audio cue away as they come up and over. And oh my God, Wade for the grenade. He goes for the 1. He goes for the 2. He's going to get some more. Can he confirm them out? Oh my goodness gracious. He goes down at last, and Tokyo Magic Gang, they're eliminated. But it's Grindmore that are in tatters after that move. And it is going to be the solo throwing the thorn in the side once again. Nick goes up and over from Ironic, trying to confirm and steal away some of those points from Wade's. But Grindmore now across the road, and they are trying to get the reses off. And Frenchie, he rears his head and makes an appearance, and he has been just as influential as well. BitFix Gaming, though, with all 4 on their feet with the smoke wall, trying to get on over. That Molo doesn't quite reach the opening to the wall here, which could have been crucial for denying their time, as the blue now is ticking in, and we are going to reach our full first end game.
Wow. One man can destroy, I always say, the leaders or the powerhouse play in this end zone here. And talk about nearly stepping on a guy, but he put 2 down, but they continue to flip. They're down to 2 man, now down to 3, down to 2. Now defense. Oh, another 1 man just defending off the other side. We see the damage reflecting back at BFG. We are not going 4 man at the end at all.
Oh, that's it.
BFG eventually cleared the end. It's a 2-on-1 technically.
Oh my God, Frenchie! No way did he just turn on that.
1-on-1.
Ball down to Ironic. Does he see the prone player? Yes, he does. Winner, chicken dinner. BitFix Gaming. They round out the game with 18 points on the board. Wow, they needed that, but it came down to 1 Frenchie boy on his belly, picking them apart. We saw Wade do it to Grindmore. Frenchie said, you know what? I saw what you did there. Hold my beer, and nearly took that away from BitFix, but they remained on their feet and clutching things out there, and that's exactly the game that they wanted. They had a rough couple of starting games, and wow, that's going to shake the leaderboard up. We are 3 games down, but you said something right before the end of that, Mark. We have a giveaway. We have a giveaway.
100%.
Exclamation mark giveaway. You need to remain active. When we come back, I will draw the winner as we get into the second half of the nuts today, and it's going to be on Miramar. Don't go anywhere.
All clear on the roof. Heading back down.
Roger. Hurry up. We need to move.
Just make sure I don't take a bullet in the back.
Looking good. Keep it steady.
I hear footsteps. I got a bad feeling.
Enemy spotted. Move! Move!
You're going up next time.
There won't be a next time.
Oi, Amelia, what's the deal then?
2 up top, 2 downstairs.
All right, so we just go prancing in the front door as per usual then, huh?
Not today, hermano. We must be like ghosts. Trust me, these will do the trick. The fog of war. Remove all visibility. We take them out one by one. They won't know what hit them.
Oi, who's that behind you? Look, here's what we do. Surprise attack. We go in big chicken dinner style through the window, guns blazing.
You mean like in Miramar?
Oh, shit. Enough. First, we smoke out the first floor. But we'll need a distraction. Something super loud and obnoxious.
Right, I see where this is going.
Don't worry, Aziz. I got your back.
Winner, winner.
So, where to next?
Welcome back, ladies and gents. And we are here with Ground Zero, Playtonia, Feet Mates, and it has been a barnstormer on Erangel. 3 games, 2 that were speed run, 3 different winners, but now we go over to the Sandy Shores to that big open map. But Mark, we've got some stats to look at, I think, my man.
Oh, mate, let's go look at these stats because it is about the stats and facts. And look, after that map, number 3, as we saw, we had 2 speed runs, but BFG taking that early compound paid off for them. 10 rank points, 8 kills on the board. Nice little 18-point game for them, and that was a good shift, and it has paid off. But let's not take anything away from Grindmore. They worked their way down. They had to work all the way down into the compound. They're picking up the kills. TM, again, the same, like, huge crash, but even down as a one-man, holding compounds and holding angles, it has been outstanding to watch these guys bounce back.
Indeed. Now, we had 2 moments of individual brilliance from solos. Well, more than 2 moments. TMG waits. Wow. That man's damage in that last game must have been ridiculous. And but yeah, looking at it, a lot of the guys that we were seeing at the top of the leaderboards, they didn't have the games that they were wanted. So this leaderboard overall is going to be thrown into a little bit of chaos going in and exiting Erangel. But we do have some more stats to throw up on the screen, and it's the ones that I'm looking for after that last game because, like I said, individual brilliance was on display. So Jekka, again, sitting at the top with 10 kills, and this is the overall kills leaderboard. Techers with 9. BFG, ironic. Wow, he gets in after he clutches things up and he shares that 9 kill spot with Techers. Blazer on 7 and Julian on 7 as well. But wow, look at the knocks. It's the man that I was talking about. 9 knocks, and I would pretty much say that they were probably all in that game.
Yeah, 100%. But look, let's not take anything away. Tech is consistent, and he's always up on these leaderboards. Like,
my man,
he's putting points on all the time with 8 knocks for him. Decker again. You know me, I like Toxic. They've 8 points on the board. Cran 8, Purdy 8. Like, come on, this is close for the actual kills. It's close for the overall knocks, and the leaderboard. It's just getting tighter and tighter.
It is indeed, and it's a very interesting one. We're going to jump on over now and have a look at those damage numbers and that survival time. And wow, Grindmore, look at the survival time. They got the 1, 2, 3, 4. They got the full roster, baby.
If you put the coach in there, mate, I'm sure he'd be down on 5th, but they are dominating the survival time on that right-hand side. But again, no surprise, we're seeing the same people. The only name really that obviously Michael now cropping in on the damage, though, consistently putting on there, and he's sitting himself in 4th place there on the damage. But again, did that last game really help some of these guys? I feel like we've had a couple of jumps up on the leaderboard, especially from a damage point of view. And Frenchie, though, hey, my man put his running trainers on, and a better player would have crawled their way in, should we say. But Frenchie put his running shoes on, he got up, he sent it all the way across, he put some more damage, and he got himself through to a 2nd place, again increasing his damage and creeping him onto this leaderboard.
He did indeed, and Frenchie getting on his toes was wild, but he had that AWM in hand. He made it count, and he did the work. Now, talking about work, I've seen some people putting in some work on those giveaways. We have just released the next one, and it is T-Dove that has one. So send me a DM either on Twitch or on Twitter, and I will get a code over to you for that brand new Cowboys set. But we have finished the Erangel portion of our tournament tonight. There are just 2 more chances on Erangel tomorrow. It is 5 today. It is 5 tomorrow. And Erangel, well, it's the favorite. And normally we see teams that are very, very strong in it kind of sometimes struggle at Miramar. And that's exactly where we're going in just a minute or so, Mark.
Yeah, again, teams do favour Erangel. Some teams favour Miramar. What I actually find really interesting is the transition between Erangel and Miramar, because they're 2 different game map styles. Like, you got Erangel, you can kind of rotate, your car's a bit better, easier to drive around, you don't have as many bumps, stones, nooks and crannies to crash into. And then when you come into a Miramar, then you're having to rethink about how you move your vehicles, how you put your position, how quick do you rotate, or do you hang back and then try and lurk your way into zone and play off the edge of blue? So I'm interested, and as you guys are aware, those that follow us on social medias and watch our channels when we do casting for scrims and other events, Miramar normally comes first. We will have Miramar first tomorrow, but today it might change the mindset of some of these IGLs and how they play. And I'm really interested to see on the next two maps, actually, who can continue the momentum? Will we see some of the teams that have been a bit more quieter get involved because they prefer a mirror and right? It's that medium to long distance fight for a little bit longer, and we see some early crashes. Or are we going to see these teams that are sort of storming away just get stuck in and just we're going to see some early crashes? I don't think we're going to see some early finishes, but we will have to see how it goes into these next two maps. But I'm all watching, all ears, basically.
Yeah, and like you said, so the momentum being broken up because, like you said, it's a standard issue for Miramar, Erangel. Changing that up, I've hosted my own tournaments. Players really don't like it. That old phrase, I don't like change. And some people, they get dug into the mindset, they get ready for it. And like we said, we've talked about the home field advantage. Some teams love Miramar, some teams love Erangel, and one's always stronger than the other. And if you're a Miramar team and you've reveled in the chaos of Erangel today, because it has been chaotic and that's down to the zone shifts, and you're coming now onto your home turfs, that momentum that we said about before game number one is going to be so important, because potentially you've picked up a lot of points that you wouldn't normally get on Erangel because it's been so chaotic. But it's game number 4. The plane is in the sky, Mark. Why don't you take us through it, my man?
Oh, what a good flight path to start us off. Right through a sort of southwest, all the way up to a northeast. And it is pretty much bang on by dead center. You can't get much more onto that one. Even if it shifts a little bit south, teams will be happy. I think we'll see nice spreads. I think people are going to get themselves out. Maybe put their toes in the sand, so to speak, and get settled. I can't see any crazy crashes just off yet, but what I'll be really watching for, as we see a lot of these teams jump out, will be the first zone pot. Where's the zone shift going to go? How far down or north is it going to shift up? Will we see any sort of bottlenecks? And that's key, what I want to see. Where the bottlenecks going to come in as soon as that zone pops. P27, though, they're taking a nice early jump out in Monty, as we see a Ghetto Gang pushing down to El Pozo. 2 great compounds to have. BFG have taken down, as we see also the 3DX guys there. They've gone out, but they pushing down towards that south out of there. It'd be a nice clean compound. I worry about that sort of shift though, because they might have to rotate if it does hit up for a northeast. SG taking Chum, not a little bit on the sort of east hand side of them. SZ always taking centralized zone. This team gets away taking central drops all the time. A little bit of a split, and most of the teams are all okay. A few more sort of drops, which are more sort of city compounds. We wait intentionally as the zone's going to shift, and there we go, a huge northeast or north to northeast shift. And I fear, as I mentioned, BFG are game 3 winners. They've got a huge rotation. The only advantage they've got, mate, is they've got that west hand road. They might want to take it all the way up.
Yeah, indeed. Now, we talked about there being a lot less water, but it doesn't matter when the circle just says, you know what, 30%, well, 30% of me, it doesn't even want to be inside the map. You can't even see the circle as it is hugging that north wall. Now, this makes for, again, some interesting circles. And you talked about those bottlenecks. Well, there's a lot of open, long roads, but there are a lot of gullies where the road just goes directly through 2 very steep hills either side. And we've all seen those Smoky and the Bandit films with those ambushes with the bandits up on the hills, ready and waiting on the dunes. And I think we might see game imitate fiction here.
Yeah, well, look, again, IGLs, we speak about it all the time, and it isn't quite Death Valleys in that sort of southwest corner, but you're right, there are some high ground here. And one of the high ground points, I think a lot of the IGLs be looking, they're going to be trying to gear their team to shift quite early, is a little bit west of where Tokyo's sitting. North of water treatment, we've got that hillside there, and on top of that hill, we've got a couple of powerhouses of compounds. Now, that being said, it might not land there. There are loads of options where the zone might shift, especially after we see phase 2 and 3 go to 3 and 4, as it will tighten itself down. I feel like a team that gets themselves in the cars nice and early and rotate to those kind of high compounds will be able to play off that area nicely, as long as they can defend teams off. We might even see a couple of teams may take some north rotations. As you mentioned, there is a lot of that north zone which is out. For those, obviously on the top of the map, anywhere see D, E, F, and G. Anywhere north of that is an unplayable zone for these guys. Solo, though, they are out very much in the north east corner, and it's great to see these guys are wrapping themselves around. As we mentioned, they're taking that north approach and going to try and take off some real estate early. I think it's going to pay off for Solo. They need the points in the game. I don't think they're used to sitting on the right-hand side of the table. I think they want to finish off these sort of games 5 and game 6 now, game 4 and game 5, sorry, as if they were finishing off the end of a tournament, and high points, high reward games, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned those hilltop compounds. There is one particularly very powerful compound, which is Slapbang Center. I think I saw one of the TMG boys very, very close to it. And they are the closest to those hilltop compounds. They are the closest to that high ground. And they will be rewarded if they move efficiently and fastly, like we're seeing with Solo. And like you said, I love being this efficient. 4 minutes and already on his toes, already getting one of those north compounds, because there are some wild zones that I've seen, Mark, and I'm not joking when I say that I've seen a zone that hugs that north wall that is out of bounds.
I've had a few of them. I've had 3 island finishes on this one as well.
Tease. Absolute tease.
Console is slightly different. The guys and girls don't play as many games on console. We only play 4 games. Normally 3 of them is Erangel, 1's a Miramar. That's a standard format for console. Esports or esports events for money. Obviously coming to 6, you stand more of a chance, and 2 of them have come off me casting or moving to casting PC PUBG. And it is a tease. It is a caster's dream to be seeing zones like that. But it is all about nice rotation. I think we'll see a couple more teams maybe take a 2-2 split. And try and guess the zone, as it could go east or it could go west on this one. So I'd like to see a few more teams maybe take that. We see Formulation Gaming now taking that high compound we spoke about early. So they are waiting and wondering where this zone's going to go. But the cars are safe up here. If you position it rightly, they should be able to play off. But that being said, they can get teams lurking really close to them and actually cause some huge amounts of damage.
Looks like we've already got a fight going on. It's Illidan taking down Tekkas and Hyman. This is huge, as they're not used to being on the back foot, but back foot is what they're on. That flash was absolutely perfect. Intense is blind as a bat right now as he's sending it on up, but he's going to get the knock onto Illidan, avenging his teammates so far, but the rest of the reinforcements coming in and down the hill. Great keep from Intense, but he is going to eat. Oh no, he actually gets the hard down. Now, just on a sliver of HP, anybody's is trying to recover, trying to hide the situation as he sprays down with that 3x barrel, then switches over to the mini as they start to surround.
Communication coming though from outside, the guys not from the outside, letting them know that the 2 friend players are coming down has dominated them slightly, allowed them to try to pop out. They have lost one, they have not. They've got a great outstanding knockdown friends as they are. Not struggling to come down, but by not flashing those players, they've been able to give some great comms down. We're going to see at the end of this one, there's a big push here. Nade's gone out. Oh, he flashed himself. And run straight to a nade. Oh, a bit of splash damage coming through. Friends down to a 1-man on the defense. He's out. He's only got 2 nades. No more smoke left. So he's going to have to try and hold as he works his way back. I fear Toxic, though, if they hear the rain and the gunshots, they will continue to move the momentum and try and get them to their fight.
Oh, no.
Animation.
Gets caught in that fallen animation. Is salty as he tries to get himself back around, but the pitter patter of footsteps is enough just to get anybody's to reevaluate that and not go for the peak. Illidan is going to confirm out Hyman as this fight has raged on, and those reses haven't been allowed to come back out. So no matter who wins this fight, with toxic players coming in, I think everyone's going to be a loser here in game number 4.
Yeah, they're going to and that is not great. They've got one up and sent that to go get some more. Salty is out hanging back on a 1. He's not even stuck a med on. As Toxic are descending around, and we see these guys close the door. It's Stora 1-on-1. Everyone's bleeding out. Only 2 points in the kill on the feed here for the friends. Good flash. And good close. Wow. Sakura. Would we ever say they're going out in 16th place?
Nope. Not something I'm used to saying at all, but toxic players, they have wrapped around and they know by watching that kill feed, which we've already seen being integral to some of these crashes and some of these teams being ejected early. They'll know that it's just one player out of the 8 that survived there. Formulation Gaming, well, they've taken up that hilltop compound. That's my favorite. It's got that bar on top, and that's not why it's my favorite. It's those lines of sights that it provides.
Yeah, they're going to have a 360 view. They're going to potentially do that split where you've got that little compound a bit further down. If you hold it off, don't allow anyone to feed into that compound, and just literally suck in that sort of 360 view and wait for the zone to pop. There's a lot of these teams you can see are descending, mainly Donut, a couple of North. We are seeing Ace now coming on that sort of western side. BFG, as we mentioned, they had a long wrap in and they are working their way down. I fear if Ace stop here and know that there might be teams potentially playing the risky card, hey, don't move, maybe a team will come in. BFG could be caught off, but more importantly, BFG have gone north, and I cannot wait. I don't know if you've seen it yourself, but that new Oasis compound that is coming to Miramar, I cannot wait, because in that sort of the section at north west hand side of your screen, it's being remastered. We got a road and we got a town coming in. I can't wait for the updates tomorrow, innit? Oof.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to change up this meta, and It's going to make that north side even more interesting when the circles do go there. Of course, Oasis circles, they're pretty rare on their own, but the lines of sight are still going to be around, and there is still a lot of high ground here as the rotations from Aces come in, and 10 net. Trying to crack off a quick Scott Boaty there as the drive-by comes in from JR onto Shigan. So Gale Gang, they're going to lose one early, and Aces, but they continue their rampage. But for me, Aces, they're sitting in third, but I know that they can bring more momentum than this. They are a team of monsters, and I mean monsters.
What they can bring is momentum, 100%, and they get kills. Why momentumly moving around the map? They are not scared to drive and shoot.
Not
Good
at all.
shots here. Friends just ensuring no one crashes into his compound. Let's go and take some hits as they continue to rotate through to the crossroads, checking back slightly. They're going to find themselves a new home.
Oh, good shot there. I actually got it. Oh, yeah, pre-fire coming in. So I talk about peacocking and being loud and proud, right? And you normally do that when you're 2-2 split in a compound, or when you're first to a compound, you want to be loud and proud. But when you're the last player left in a team, after a big fight, after a big crash, and you've got teams rotating, scrambling, coming in late potentially, Stratos gets wedged down from miles away. Holy! Big man Stratos there coming in and taking down the biggest man in the lobby, who seemed like a brick wall last time. But yeah, that peacocking sometimes can be a double-edged sword, because if a team identify coming in late, scrambling for somewhere to call home, that they're only hearing one mini or one M4 trying to be loud and proud, they're going to go, that's someone trying to seem bigger than what they are. We can crash that as a 4. And sometimes that peacocking can be that double-edged sword that I've talked about.
100%, but not for Tokyo, because we saw Wade's last as a one-man, holding and defending. But yeah, you're right. If audio is key. One of the first things a lot of people say when they try to get into competitive PUBG is audio. Is if you can hear the footsteps coming in, if you can get your sound on cue, and in the IQ level increasing that, yeah, you're right. If you can hear one set of mini shots coming out of a compound, that actually, you know what, guys, is maybe we crash this guy 4-1. Let's maybe take a knock, but flush out a guy and take on a compound.
Yeah, about that trading. That trading is another adult part of playing. You play for trades, especially when you siege in a compound. Most of the time, one person will jump across the doorway, which will get the attention, if but for a second, of the holding player, and that allows your teammate to swing on in and trade that out. But circle has shifted, and it's pulling north, and woo, this is looking like another interesting one that we don't get to see all too often.
It should pull back to formation game, and I think a lot of these teams will be looking at this now going, that hill is going to be dominating at the moment. The only downside to them is they might not be able to pick up as many kills as they want. Will we see a game number 1? Will we see Formulation Gaming, who sat in some prime real estate last time, but didn't really pick up the kills? But actually, a lot of the teams that lurked around on the outside were the ones harvesting and farming the kills. So I want to see if Formulation Gaming can learn from game number 1. Let's not take anything away. They got the win. They got a couple of kills on the board, and it set them a good stead for this evening. But I feel like they'll be looking at this now going, hold on, guys, we've got prime real estate again. Let's actually try and farm as many kills as we can and be a bit more strategic about who we shoot. It's a numbers game, PUBG. Let's not ensure that actually if we get a knock, if we can stick the 3 other players also on that guy to try and flush as quick as we can, it might help. If we're spread across the high rise, we're only one guy on one gun, you're not going to get that flush quick enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And, timing and that decision to take fights on your own terms, like you said, those adult calls, they are what comes down and makes the difference between good players and great players, and good teams and great teams. And taking fights on your own terms, luring people in, camping those rotations, having yourself set up to take fights from positions where teams are going to be coming from or going to, is huge.
I just got a message come through a mate saying that the other guy in the stream is really good customer. It could be your brother. There is 100% chance of that.
Yeah, right. Brother from another mother, so to speak. We love that.
I love it. Away, guys and girls, because we do have another one coming up, and that will be given away throughout the stream. So don't forget, stay tuned, get your seatbelt on, and watch the games unfold. It is best of 2 games, but this evening is best of 5. We are game number 4, our first Miramar. Tomorrow we'll be going and starting off with Miramar. Will be 3 Miramars and 2 Orangles to close out the day. So yeah, it's going to be a long one, but stay tuned. I hope everyone is enjoying it, and as much as we are, because we've had some crazy games.
We have indeed, and just a note on that from my brother from another mother. Make sure you go drop him a follow and show him support. He's coming in casting with me for tonight for Playtonia Feet Mates Ground Zero, and it has been a banger. So show him some love. All of the socials down below for Elite Esports EU. So now we're in phase 3, and Mark, this is a different pace to what we're used to. I'm not really sure how I feel about this.
It is good. It's different, right? Let's not throw that apart. This is a different that we saw from game 1. I said to you that it was about who can come out swinging. See, my man, I'm quite an aggressive player at PUBG, and that it does favour me sometimes, and it does also disfavour me a lot of the times because I'm still learning PC, right? But a lot of the teams have come out swinging, right? And they put points on the board, and they've put themselves in a position that they want to now hold. It's about how they can close it out. So we're seeing a different type of game plan. People are trying to stay alive for longer now. They're not making the risky plays. They're trying to get the real estate. They want to see it. I think we're going to go to the wire. I think we're going to go to the end. I could be wrong. You like aggressive game. Great bulky shot there. That is disgusting there from Pink Pony as they rain fire down on Tokyo.
Yeah, I think there was already a Nox coming out from that M24, and that's one of my favourite sounds in PUBG. I can't lie. I do love the silence, though. And, well, only topped by that MK14. As they did get a knock there, TMG are going to be able to stabilise, but living in the shadow here, Pink Ponies of Formulation Gaming. We talk about Overwatch. We talk about the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and that's a banger there. Coming on in as they're just laying down the law at the moment. But yeah, they're using Formulation Gaming as Overwatch here. And I like this because Formulation Gaming, they can't peek over without TMG getting lines of sight. They can't come out to dispatch of the threat below. But it's brilliant. It means that Pink Ponies, well, they can just rain that bolty down for as long as they feel fit.
To add to that, taking anything away from that, the fact that Pink Pony are tight as a 3, which soon to be a 4, if Formulation Gaming get a knock or Pink Pony get a knock, they've got tight numbers to close out that clutch. So Formulation Gaming might be doing the hard work and get the knocks and TM, and we might see Pink Pony just hoovering up the kills or farming the kills, should we say, in this game. That compound is going to be prime. It's going to descend on Formulation Gaming.
Psycho has shifted again, and we did see that rotation, that aggressive rotation come in from Aces, and they're sitting in a compound, and I've seen circles pull down very much in between where they are and the Cran boys. So, you know, that hillside is a bit of a weird one to fight on. There's a lot of very interesting zones here, and there's a lot of teams occupying a small amount of spaces, but with the ridges, the dips, and the compounds scattered throughout Miramar, it means that these teams can remain safer for longer. And these end games, well, we've still got 55 alive inside 16 minutes. And it can still house a lot of those with this zone shift. And it could, like you said, it'll go down to the wire, but it'll be that domino effect because there'll be so many people alive. There'll be so many people on every zone shift scrambling for somewhere to call home, scrambling for a ridge, a dip, anything. That when it does erupt, it will be 2 minutes of chaos. Oh, Hawkeye there nearly landing a bolt shot onto Toxic players. Of course, winners of a game each here, but the leaderboard, it's very, very segmented as the points have been very evenly distributed, and none of the oh no, Shro runs over. Hello, my bad. None of the games have had
someone running over someone. Trust me.
Yeah. The games have been very, very chaotic, and because they've been so chaotic, it doesn't really lend the ability for a trend of teams to be so dominant to come through. But Grindball, they've been pretty damn dominant and pretty damn consistent so far, and they're looking to continue that trend.
Well, you got to remember Grindball on that right hand side of the table, and they've grinded, without any pun intended on the name, but they've grinded their way across this left hand side, and they're going to continue. They've pitched themselves up against Solo. Solo, a team that's sitting in 9th place, I believe, at the moment. They need to get points on the board, so just understanding that who's there with a knock, they might try pushing, or the risk of that is giving up the real estate. The big fight, which I want to watch, is what we're looking at the moment. With Formulation Gaming shifting away from this compound, they need to draw their attention back to Toxic and ensure they don't steamroll through their compound and clear them out. And I'm also really, really worried. What do Tony do? Do they rotate now? Do they wait for the third party to start? Because they are some outstanding shots. He puts 1 and 2 down to like pretty much 2 shots. I think Pony can just unleash from this sort of a northeast corner and third party the hell out of this.
They can indeed, but the downfall they've got is the zone is against their back, so it is forcing their hand, and it looks like the aggression is working out. It's those arching nades coming up and over, and with sprays like that, wow, Atomical, he's going to fall to his knees as Leos gets one. The next one comes in. Atomical's going to be flushed out instantaneously. And Toxic players, they are absolutely moving beautifully here and catching Formulation Game in time when he's sleeping. Snooski takes a little bit of damage there as O'Connell knocks Sheila, his own teammate, and flushes him out with a nade. Not quite sure what's going on there, but it's that domino effect. I told you, once this erupts, the whole lobby, the whole kill feed is going to go nuts, and that's exactly what's happening here, Mark.
Yeah, Crown's on the third party here. I think they're double guessing whether to push in. I feel like they're doing the right thing and just try and pick up any scabs, let these guys unfold, and then just clear out. Pink Pony have played away. They want nothing to do with this here. And you're right, it's going to be a domino effect here as these teams are all going to eventually get sandwiched in because they're going to have to come off the high ground. It has played very much into the sort of north corner, as you said. And it's going to be game after, literally knock after knock, and then play after player getting knocked out in this game.
Oh
Toxic
my goodness.
Down they're clearing up. Oh, great, as they try and shift in. Another one down.
Oh!
Rounds on the third party between Squirtle Gang there and V27. Yeah,
right.
They're in. They've got a great zone here. They've got a great zone, Cran.
Right. So we literally said at 17 minutes, there were 55 players alive. 16 have just fallen. The zone taking Toxic players. I talked about their hand was being forced by the zone against their back. Stratus and Hawkey, they left the player behind to take the fight, to take the attention, to delay Toxic players. They got into that next zone, and as soon as they started cresting out of that compound, they unloaded. They started taking names. They started lessening the player count on Toxic and getting some points on the board. But that domino effect is real, Mark. In a lobby like this, it can get 0 to 11 in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? And we're seeing a couple of sprints as per the games, but teams like this, 27 who was just watching these up, going, hold on, Team Pony the same. Great controller. They pushed themselves away. There were two. They've lost a couple on that push away. They picked up a couple of kills. They need to sit the resin. They need to ensure Grindmore doesn't dominate them. They're sitting in a little pocket here. But remember, Pink Pony dominated yesterday. They're not having the best of days, so they've got to try and get as many points on the board and reset themselves maybe for the next game and then tomorrow. Gang now been eliminated. We start seeing teams rotate down, and as it does shift down, slight donut to donut sort of southwest, as we're going to see Cran, Grindmore, and Pink Pony trying to take the high ground. Toxic are going to be coming in late here.
They are indeed very, very late as the bloodshed just continues, and Cran are dismantling those ponies. Those stallions are being fought to their knees, and Cran up the king of the castle so far, and they are doing so well. Roy is going to receive some fire there as it looks like Solo, well, they're sending it on in, and Grindmore getting picked apart from above and below, but fire is coming in both sides. It's that circle, and it forces these fights, and we've seen that game 1 and 2. They saw them speed run, and it looks like game number 4 is going to be much of the same here.
Wow, the attention from Cran is very much on Grindmore / Solo now. Have they forgotten about Pink Pony? And Toxic's going to come in behind as well. Grindmore having to refocus their attention on Solo. Solo trying to get the kills at the team, which I wouldn't have expected to be on the right-hand side of the table in game number 4. And they're now pushing to get kills and finish off today on a good height. 1 kill on the board, losing 1, they're now pushing. Pink Pony is eventually been picked up and eliminated. Solo put another point on the boards.
More points on the board as Pink Ponies. They fall. 10 teams remaining, 27 alive, and that kill count is just going up and up and up as the lobby goes down and down and down as Hakatori finds yet another member of Grindmore. And Grindmore, somehow, some way, they're defending, they're holding on as Vendivici, the VVVs, holding on. But they get eliminated, sorry. But Grindmore, they're holding on and they're receiving such pressure. We talked about them trying to continue that momentum and trying to remain on that half of the leaderboard. Well, it's looking like a tough task as Cran, well, they're continuing their reign of terror. 6 kills on the board, all 4 players back on their feet. And Frenchie, one of the solo heroes of the last game, goes down. No tag eliminated into the placement points. And I'm running out of breath here, Mark.
Talk about sending it into the placement points. There's usually 22, 23 on the clock now. 8 teams remain, 20 left alive, and the numbers are falling. Frenchie has eliminated. Look, Toxic. Grindmore, Solo, PM, wow. They wanted to shift. Ace, though, they did rotate round here. They did spread themselves from north, and it's favoured as the zone plays back. Great shots from Cran as he now tucks in. Another one of Squirtle Gangs down. Need to potentially get the first before anyone else picks him up as Cran now recheck themselves. Toxic goes in the middle. They've still got one up. They're lurking. Never count them out as a one-man.
How has Leos managed to do that? he must have had the whole medical corps in his back pocket to get out of that zone. That circle not quite going where I thought it was going to go, but very much centering up on Ace's crew. And if there's a team that can capitalize on that, it's going to be them. The pre-nade goes up and over from Leos, and so does the pre-spray as he dips up and over the ridge, does a little bit of damage, but the flash is just too powerful, and so are Cran. 9 kills on the board, surging forward. 7 teams remaining, 17 players, and in but 8 minutes, Mark, we lost nearly 30 players.
Yeah, again, most of the lobby's going down. It should quite up. Ace obviously holding the compound. I think the question is going to be, does a team crash it? Or I feel like what we're going to see is teams maybe just take off and hold the outside, and we're going to work our way in. I think we could go to the wire. I know we've only got 6 teams and 15 up, but with a zone like this, I feel like people are going to just try and make themselves known, hold a bit of zone. And Ace, I think, are just going to try and pick up as many kills as they can.
Exactly, top 3 in the leaderboards as it stands right now. Don't forget explanation mark leaderboard if you want to see the current stats. Oh, Michael dismantles Werberton as he tries to prime another smoke to come down and descend from the heavens of the hill. And this is just a shooting gallery. This is, the team shots coming out, the taps of these monstrous players. Noki still holding on for dear life as we go down to our top 5 in Tokyo Magigang. They're eliminated at the hands of Senyo. Oh my god, running the gauntlet though. And Cran, well, they were monsters, kings of the hill. BFG, getting in on the action, and now we're down to our top 4 teams. It's a 4v3v2 as it stands, and 1 is a solo Squirtle Gang member, and we know, don't count those boys out.
Oh, mate, we put Frenchie in again. Dab. He's disgusting, even as a solo. Again, most teams now have got some zone, but definitely really pick up. We mentioned it very quickly there, but the difference there we saw, the Ace though, they got a knock, and you could just hear all 4 gangs tap. They were just hammering to get the first, because they know there are other teams lurking around, like BFG, who did steal some of those kills away from them, but they knew that they got a knock and they had to really capitalize and try and put some points on the board. They got some points getting to this compound. More importantly, they're getting points even still holding the compound down without a crash. And look at the movement from Ace. They do not want to ensure anyone comes in. BFG have a split on that north side. Zone is shifting to a northwest corner. Ace now on the outside. Solo have only got really one option, and that is either to go through or go round. And it's going to be go through, surely.
It's a hard one. This is BFG. You identified the split there, and they've got a big portion of zone control. Big Ival over on that northeast side, though. He's going to be looking to gatekeep and just oppress this rotation. It looks like Solo, they're going to go around, possibly identify that Nookie is by himself, but shots coming in and putting the damage in, and Nookie is going to be one of those as he hits the tire, and the Morado flips out into zone, and that's going to be dangerous. Actually going down to the zone, collected by Nookie, so more points on the board again, and this is just falling apart as the zone takes another one. That Morado flipping and sliding down the hill. He couldn't get out because it would be taken away, but Nookie steals another one, and now that Bronco we can see being ghost rided down the hill as he had to jump out, and now not even inside the zone. Nookie collecting a lot of points as Senya, the only player left. Look at how much damage that is doing. 10 HP per tick, and time is ticking away for Senya and Solo.
They had one choice. I'm sorry. Miramar, car rotations, you know it is going to be horrible. The only option I think they should have done is they should have stuck it into that compound. I know it's a bit out there, right? I'm an aggressive player. It's not always the right play. But trying to rotate up that upper hill, right, with a Morado, and then come down a hill by just taking shots from everyone in the everyone on the rest of the map, because you know the moment they hear the cars, they're like, well, they're only going a couple of ways, and if they ain't coming to the compound, they're going up, and we can pick up some easy kills. And Squirtle Gang capitalized, and he read the kill feed really well, got the kill feed. Oh, there's another knock, and then that second knock came from it. But defend now, he's down to 1s.
It's not looking good here as the Nade Masters, Purdy and Michael in conjunction here, whilst Jam still tries to oppress and make sure that BFG can't come in third party to push. It's a brilliant 2-2 split here. It's a brilliant split of resources, and talking about resources, they've got a lot of lethals in that back pocket, up and over, more damage being done onto Nookie as they are just hunting 2 by 2, and that's exactly what they need to do to take the power away here. JR gets auto down from that 2-2 split for BFG. The head peeks up and over. Michael does go down, but Purdy clutches things out. The res is going to be instantaneous. And look at this. One knock on the board. Jam surging forward, sending forward, trying to find physics as it is now pretty much a 4v1. But comes around the smoke. Utility goes up and over. 1 nade, 2 nade, 3 nades more. He's still got 2 in his back pocket, but he doesn't need them. A winner, chicken dinner. An 18-kill win for Aces there. Let's remind you that they were sat in 3rd place, and that is a big win for them. I talked about momentum. I talked about this team when they let the shackles off their feet. They've got the names. They've got the talents to run rampant for a lobby, and with all 4 on their feet and an 18-kill game in their back pocket, it's not often casters get things wrong, right? Get things right.
We never get it right.
And no, we don't. But thankfully, my boys come through there and made it look like I know somewhat what I'm talking about.
Let's not take anything away, but God, the speed that they released from that compound after Solo get annihilated from the zone, it was just remarkable. I don't even think Solo was out, and they were already on their toes, running away to close the door, though, on BFG and, unfortunately, Squirtle Gang, as they were on the outside.
Yeah. Great individual effort there, and like we said, watching that kill feed, watching that rotation, acknowledging that the kills had, the knocks had come through from the zone, peaking up 1-2, 1-2, getting that done, fantastic. But we are at the end of the 4th game, which means we've got 1 left. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it'll be the last game of the night and the last game of the day. Don't go anywhere.
All clear on the roof. Heading back down.
Roger. Hurry up. We need to move.
Just make sure I don't take a bullet in the back.
Looking good. Keep it steady.
I hear footsteps. I got a bad feeling.
Enemy spotted. Move! Move!
You're going up next time.
There won't be a next time.
Oi, Amelia, what's the deal then?
2 up top, 2 downstairs.
All right, so we just go prancing in the front door as per usual then, huh?
Not today, hermano. We must be like ghosts. Trust me, these will do the trick. The fog of war. Remove all visibility. We take them out one by one. They won't know what hit them.
Oi, who's that behind you? Look, here's what we do. Surprise attack. We go in big chicken dinner style through the window, guns blazing.
You mean like in Miramar?
Oh, shit. Enough. First, we smoke out the first floor. But we'll need a distraction. Something super loud and obnoxious.
Right, I see where this is going.
Don't worry, Aziz. I got your back.
So, where to next?
Welcome back, ladies and gents. We have just one more game to go of Ground Zero by Playtonia Feet Mates, and it has been a banger. From crazy zones taking out so much landmass in zones 1 and 2 on 3 of the 4 maps so far. It's meant things have been fast, furious, and just chaotic, and we revel in the chaos here, Mark.
100%. I told you he was going to come out swinging today. And Toxic, wow, done me proud. I called you early doors. You done me proud. And I want to see how the game goes. We know the last game of the day can always be a bit of a crazy one because some people that are lower down the table, they need to close today off and get the points on the board and ensure that they go in tomorrow not panicking, maybe is the right terminology to use. They don't want to be desperate tomorrow. They want to put themselves in a good stead. And they want to make sure they get good consistency out of here. And I feel like we're going to see some teams play a little bit more quicker, a little bit more aggressive because they know they've got good on the left-hand side. And the teams on the right-hand side of the table, you know, they want to put a good shift in. They're going to get a good balance of placement. But more importantly, they want to get those points on the board.
Yeah, so talking about those leaderboards, we're going to go and have a look at the previous game and what points were scored. And again, it was another big fragging total. So Ace's crew, they come out with 18 points. And it's what I said, these boys can put up some big numbers. I don't think we've actually had that 20-point game broken just yet, but that's pretty damn close. Cran, the Kings of the Hill, 10 kill points, just 3 placement points, but they're second in the map-wise scoreboard. Squirtle Gang, they get 10. Solo, they get 9. Bitfix on 8. Friends on 5. Toxic Players, your boys on 5. And rounding out the top 8 mark is No Tag with 3 points.
That's a good game from Ace. Like, they've actually knocked off Toxic off the top spot, really, because of that game alone. You've got to remember, they shifted in from that west-hand side. And actually, I would have thought at that position, they were thinking they're a bit late for zone. It may or may not come back down to them, but I definitely feel like they'd be weighing up that it could have played away from them at that point. And then when that zone shifted back to them, they were really split. They were trying to harvest and farm some kills. They tightened so quickly up on that compound. And do you know what? 8 kill points, 10 kills on the leaderboard, picking up an 18-point game, sending you skyrocket into first place. They're going to be happy coming into game number 5.
They are indeed, but some of these teams are not going to be happy. I mean, Formulation Gaming, they've just dipped out of that top 8 spot that they've been residing in pretty much the whole night after that game number 1 win. So they've got to put some more work in. Sakura Sensen as well. They're in 9th. So teams that we're not used to seeing, TMG, Grindmore, everyone in this lobby, they fought to be here. And we're shocked to see any of these teams on that side of the leaderboard. But we're going to go and have a look at some more stats now, as there's a lot to digest. And I think it is going to be the overall kill leaders and those knocks. So Jekka still sitting aloft the top spot with 10 to his name. Techers of the Man on 9. Big Ironic on 9 as well. Blazer gets into the top 8 and joined by O'Connell.
Yeah, and let's not take anything away. I know you said Sakura have gone down on the right-hand side of the leaderboard, but Techers is not just a one-man army. The guys are putting a shift on the board, but they're not having good Miramar games. And hopefully they can get this one out of the bag for this next set. And because, tomorrow we're starting up with 3 Miramars. So they need to ensure they close the day out. And hopefully we're going to see not just Techers on this sort of side of the leaderboard, but also on the knocks as well. Look at Waze getting big knocks. That came from that last game on a wrangle. Kranz working their way up here. Ace, Michael Storr consistently being on this leaderboard. Techers with an 8 knocks. And Jekka again, overall, put himself on both sides. 8 knocks as well, but 10 kills, GG's.
Yeah, we're going to go over and have a look at that damage number, which is the stat I love. And the stat that Michael's going to be loving is he brings himself 400 damage points clear at the top. Ironic, though, wow, 1,400 is nothing to scoff at. And just 20 points behind that, the man Techers, like you said, one-man army just behind that. 100 or so behind that is our man Jekka and O'Connell as well. So not a lot between these boys, but these are some big totals. Let's have a look at the survival time, Mark.
And look at Noki, though. It's breaking up the Grindmore, as they were very, very much solid for some time on that survival time on that right-hand side of that leaderboard. You just saw, I think it's all to play for. I don't want to count any teams out. I don't want to be putting anyone underneath the bus, really. But we've got to think these teams on the right-hand side of the leaderboard. Let's look at Secure End. They've just shifted over to a 9th spot. So they need to have a good game. They don't want to be going out early, but they need to get those kills, as we keep saying. So a team I would think very much better on the left-hand side of the leaderboard playing through. But don't forget, we have tomorrow. We still have 5 games tomorrow, 6 games, including this game that's going to be loading up. Still think it's all to play for, and there's a lot to be had in this last game.
There is indeed. So the cutoff point at the moment is only 23 points, and all the way down to 16th is 9 points. 2 good games, 1 good game, and bad games from anyone on that left-hand side can see that turn shift on its head. And we've seen it shift on its head with the chaos that has not allowed anyone to get that momentum, that ball rolling, and remain with that ball in their court. Because it's so crazy and because the zones are being so wild, it means that we're having some different teams coming out with big totals because we know each and every one of these teams, they have the mechanical skill, they have the game knowledge to put the points on the board when the zones shift in their favor. And at the moment, I think the zones are dictating more than what we would like to admit.
Yeah, the zone shifts are shifting massively, and it's forcing the IGLs to really think on their feet. And we're seeing some real great pockets of players and teams that come together with a zone shift, actually capitalizing on either a zone shift not just coming to them, but actually shifting away and finding themselves on the outside, and just trying to harvest, again, as many kills as they can, trying to play off the blue and off the edge. And we're seeing a lot more of, I suppose, the harvesting, the farming, the kills off the edge of blue. But we're going to go into the game number of the 5, the last one of this evening, as we see this wonderful plane rotating from a great flight path. I'll let you lead the way on the last game.
Well, it's going to go from 12 down to about 7, and it's directly through the middle of the map. I don't think we've seen that today, but me and Gibson, we have a phrase: nice plane path, horrible zone. Well, I think the players would argue with that one tonight, and I think me and Gibson need a little bit of love if this one could be horrible. And I mean, it does have the potential. I mean, we saw what a thorn that north side circle threw in last game. It has the potential to go up there again, but it also has that little chicken leg island down at the bottom, that prison island. That is also very viable. So could be a absolute banger, could be an interesting one, and we could see another massive amount of unplayable in this next zone.
I hope we get it wrong, right? But I love to see a Los Leones game 5. I'm not going to... horrible for the frames, but I'm horrible. But I don't think we're going to see it as we sort of wait, anticipating on this zone to pop. And obviously, big shout out to all the production team. The overlays and production this evening has been great. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are. Sitting behind the close scenes, it's a first for me. I'm not having to move a mouse and keyboards around. Just get to talk, and it's great.
Yeah. So, big shout out to the Ground Zero, the Playtonia crew. And we've got that southern zone. We do have a little bit of that chicken drumstick inside, but I wouldn't have thought that will stay inside for much longer. But we are looking at No Tag being realistically the winners of this zone revealing itself. But yeah, big shout out to everyone involved. It's huge. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We've loved having you all here, and just a huge thank you.
More importantly, don't forget, we've got a giveaway still to go. So smash it in chat, !! giveaway. Being a chance to win some free loot drops that'll be slammed out here. Thanks to very much, obviously, Playtonia, Ground Zero, and PUBG. Look at that zone shifter with that, as you mentioned, with that chicken leg just in. I'm quite surprised that have not stayed as a 2-man on that compound where Connor's sitting. That for me now is prime real estate. Any teams coming in for that sort of northwest area is going to be rotating their way down to him, and a team that has more than one player there could actually capitalize and get some rotation kills. There's some horrible bottlenecks. There's some really horrible bottlenecks, and that is one of them.
Yeah, so that center compound where the T junction is in the center of the zone, we call that, we named that after one of my friends, Felon Compound. If anyone in the Scandinavian kind of scene, they'll know Felon, and it's because he's got a particular track record with that compound, and he will always send it there. But at the moment, that compound and the hill just to the west of that are such good positions. I can see the boys from Squirtle Gang moving down to that hilltop because it provides you that scouting ability, those lines of sight, and that what I like to call a foundation to build your game on. If you can get in, if you can survey the area, you have the high rise, you have that scouting ability to see where people are, to hear the shots, to have that 360-degree view and find out where's free. No matter where that circle goes, you are going to have the intel over your opponent. And Mark, what is knowledge?
Hey, logic is key, mate, unless you look like me. Big game in though, BFG getting a nice early kill as they put one on the board. They need the points because points make prizes. We are full of it this evening, and it will be coming
the
through
phrases
tomorrow. 100%. Otto backing away, as he's the guy who actually managed to dig himself into Crucible and able to get a kill. Grindmore though sitting out in Los Leones, this is always good. I'm quite surprised we don't see Solo in here. We did see Solo for a lot of the qualifications actually landing in Los Leones and actually dominating out of this area, especially taking that 5-stack, just coming to the sort of edge of your screen on the top left-hand side, because it's another building. You get some wonderful visualization that you're able to look 360 around the clock and able to pick up quite a few players if they do decide to rotate in towards Los Leones. Talk about rotation, we are seeing Formulation Gaming. They are now on the move as they now work their way down, and they're going to be pushing themselves right in between obviously friends who are sitting there on minus, and they're going to go straight in between Toxic, who looks like they're already drawing their attention, and they're spinning those little white dots as to where they're looking at, as the teams will try and play their way in. Huge choke points, as we mentioned. Solo, they're on that sort of bottom west hand side. V27 out in Monty. Ghetto Gang again going to be coming down this sort of west hand side. I fear 3B might do the same. They might take the longer rotation and push themselves down to Death Valleys, as we call it, and they're in. We might see a few teams trying to make a what they think is a safer rotation, taking a little bit of a longer round, not into a rock like that, because we do hate Miramar for rocks, but maybe taking a longer rotation round and actually finding themselves being contended. Or on the other side, we might see a lot more teams now centralise up and donut, so to speak, as we see, not have tightened themselves up really well.
Formulation Gaming, we're following their rotating. As we can see from the map on the right hand side, we can hear the shots coming out, and it's going to be Toxic players, and it looks like as well it is Friends and Formulation Gaming now all running a choke point. And Mark, you've talked about these choke points, and this is one of them. And of course, looking at that zone, we've only got 6 teams inside of it as it stands, so that means 10 teams still having to rotate in, and it could mean that this north side, this northeast side, northwest side of the zone on the edge could get dangerous very quickly. And he gets plucked out of that buggy. And Formulation Gaming, they accept the loss of their comrade as they're going to march forward, surge forward, and that's some great shots. But evening things up is anybody onto Julian, and that is huge. Toxic players now just trying to get their best Travis Pastrana on, using that bike to get out and up over the dunes as Skip and Friends. Well, they're not quite ahead, and they haven't quite leapfrogged, but they are now punishing the Toxic players for looming on this edge of the zone.
Talk about give one and take one. They pick a point on the board, but they soon give one back to another team. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's something we talk about a lot when we're casting, especially on Miramar, leapfrogging. Friends at the moment haven't leapfrogged. Now they have got a knockdown on Toxic. Toxic lay closer into that zone, and will they potentially leapfrog their way around and then close the door? Or do they just go, right, do you know what, we've got a kill. Let's think about zone. We've got to look at the shift. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be coming in late because of that plane path. They need to potentially think about, actually, let's think about the later game. Let's get some points on the board, but you know what? Let's get some end points. Let's get some placement points as well as these kills. Have to see how it goes. Toxic, though, losing one and one down to a one-ers, but now particularly on the Reds, they've got to work their way in as we see a great migration coming.
We are going to see a great migration, and it looks like there's going to be some knocks coming out. It's going to be those aces, the winners of the last game, that are going to be receiving some punishment from Sakura as they come over on the convoy. It does look like Stratos as well. He's got Box Bob down, as we're seeing some more X Games mode from the boys of Aces. They're marching forward. They're trying not to let the gatekeepers of Salty and Intense gatekeep them for too long, but they're actually pulling up on this, and this is ballsy.
This is what I said, though. Teams that are sitting on the left-hand side of the table, they might try and make things happen this game and just maybe get a point to it, because we've not really seen it. We are seeing Ace slightly nicking it away, but there's not like sometimes when we get maybe 1 or 2 teams run away with points. I feel like Ace want to end the day with a bit of a lead.
They do indeed, and we've talked about momentum, and this is a team of big dogs that thrive on that momentum, and if anyone can do it, it will be them. And Jam opens up that momentum in game number 5 with a nade up onto Intense, tries to follow it on up, but Sakura Sensen, they're a little bit split here, and I do think that they are coming in. I can see Tekka's coming down in the low ground from that C block of apps there, but we're going to flick on over and have a look at the fight that's still raging on in La Bandita, and Toxic, well, Leos has come back. JR is in the church though, and he's about to take them to session as he's surging on through with the utility. Curdy does find intense though, so one off the board here. Tekkas is setting up, trying to get lines of sight onto it, but they don't want to give more kills away and lose more members because we've already seen they're sitting in 9th right now and Ace is in 1st. You don't want to feed more points to the boys on top, and you don't want to lose more members where you can gain those points in the end game if you set yourself up well enough.
Yeah, this is a bit interesting, but what would your call be? My call here would be like back away.
Disengage,
Salty, if you can get away, get away. Tekkas, you're a killer. Get yourself to the end game, pick up as many points as you can, because we're in 9th. Looks like Salty here was trying to get away, but Cran taking a long distance shot and actually picking him up. So, look, let's be honest though, the Ace guys will never miss a trick. They will know there's been a knock. Will they find the body in time? That's the hunting game, the treasure hunt, so to speak. But I definitely feel like it's the right play as Tekkas has released, and he is now coming off and playing himself back towards a end zone game, hopefully.
Yeah, so point on the board already for Aces. Jam has been particularly... I think they were
emoting
dance
then.
I think he was. I think he just... But, yeah, we're 9 minutes in, nearly reaching that 10-minute mark, and we've only lost a few players. Again, this is what happened in the previous game. We commented on how slow it was, and my, oh my, was I made to eat my words. As I think in 4 to 6 minutes, we lost 20 players.
Yeah, it was a big drop, very quick as well, very quick drop. As we do see it descend, but sometimes we see it consistently defend. You can even see on the right-hand side of the screen, like people are going out trying to farm points at the moment. They want to get as many points. They need to close this day off correctly.
They do indeed. And Tokyo Magic Gang, well, they had some very, very memorable moments already tonight, and they're looking as a 3-man to make some more of those and get some more points on the board. Oh, it's the Ghetto Gang, though, coming in. They're getting a 1-2 onto V27, but they're getting some help from Solo in the stab of the back, comes in onto Blazor, and V27 just down to 1 member. Sancho and April having to surge forward, trying to get Blazor up as he was the spearhead of that attack, and it looks like they're just going to have a little chat and little congregation together.
They're blocking him in so he can't get away. It's like a best thing. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like Ghetto Gang is, though, coming in as V27 need the points. Ghetto Gang are sitting on the 4 sides, so they've got a bit more room for maneuver. But V27 need to harvest. Ghetto Gang have got one of the confirms that they are going down, unable to stick the res. Sancho is using the ridge line. He's going to be able to play it around. It's going to be a 2-on-1 in this situation. Sancho's got a better positioning. Ghetto Gang now bringing a second down to take the fight. They'll be back to a 2-on-2.
Here's the footsteps though, and he's holding the angles for Ascension. They managed to reconsolidate as a 3, and oh, April gets absolutely decimated trying to ride the stallion, the steel horse back in and beat the cavalry, but cavalry isn't strong enough, and now it looks like the nade's coming up and over the utility game as Nordskiff. Well, he's found that Leos, that player that's been an absolute nuisance. Oh my goodness, going down to a sliver of HP, but managing to remain on the feet, and that is going to be huge here. Just dancing around the utility game is strong. Here's the bit about pre-fires on his belly. Oh, fantastic.
Pre-fire. Ghetto Gang, they're taking an early finish, game number 5, but you know what? Done well. They've done really well. Look how aggressive they played in Orango yesterday. Miramar not as good and not as great, but they got caught a little bit on rotation, but they've done well. They've done really, really well.
They have indeed. Now, this fight, we talk about disengaging earlier. It's 2 teams that could do with not really fighting in the blue for too long, not really losing numbers and having that end game to finish day number 1 on a high. And Nookie, well, he did that in the last game, picking up a fair amount of points. I think it was 5 kills he managed to get out of being the solo warrior. Oh my good God, that circle shift, and look at that bottom island. I'm getting made to eat my words left, right, and center here, Mark.
I've seen it shift there.
I have as well.
Yeah, it is a horrible shift if it is. Because if for those that don't know, you can't get up all the way around the island. There's only certain bits you can put yourself in on. It's a bit better than the actual other side where prison is, but it's still really horrible. Teams have to put them in. So go now on the rotation round. One had to stop as we see Pink Pony, a team. Let's talk about Pink Pony, a team that dominated yesterday. And to be fair, I'll take my hat off to it, but they've done really, really well. We went through the qualifiers. They've actually dropped down. They're actually clearing out. They should be able to get themselves back to a 4. But a team I would not expect to be sitting in 16th place after day 1 of the 2-day closed qualifiers here, round 2. I think these guys will be a bit shocked with their performance, and they need to get the swing, get the momentum going. They need to have a good game, and they need to take this game plus the 5 tomorrow to put themselves through for top 8.
Yeah, just to put it in perspective, there were 6 games yesterday. They finished on 46 kills. Formulation Gaming finished second, and they had 49 points total. So near enough 3 points off with kills to Formulation Gaming. And Pink Pony didn't even win a game yesterday. Today, after 4 games, they are sat on just 9 points. That circle does shift, it does reveal itself, and it pulls away from that island, which is going to mess up the 3 Vs, that Vendi Vici. And that's going to make things a little bit hard for them, as we can see that TMG, Tokyo Magic Gang, well, they got 1 player set up on the bridge at least. But the Squirtle Gangs, they're going to be pretty much the winners of this real estate game, as they are up on the precipice of the hill. That compound, that center, really hard to push. Is now they reconsolidate from their 2-2 split. And if they can hold that and they can remain up there and have their heads on a swivel, it's going to be a good game for them. But they have got some juggernauts on the left and on the right.
You see that bottom side of that map there? We saw Grindmore just closing the door, or closing the doors to the stable, should we say, and one Pink Pony. Grano taking some long shots with their Stewart. He's on the outside of the zone. Great tabs there from the M4 and the Mini. The 5.60 will rein in seconds, having to lay low. But they ain't gonna be able to get salty. He goes out. Nice quick kill for them. Looks like we're going to see friends now coming in behind that as well, as they are just finding their way into the zone. It is phase 3. We do have 15 teams still remaining with 49 alive, and we're just going to go tab on and 15 on the clock.
Yeah, that was exquisite. Really nice shot as they spot up another player so far away that the name's not even rendering in on the observer. But Hugh is going to be sending those shots up there, and we know these players hit those. So even though you can't see the name, you still got to be worried about those bullets. As Pink Pony, well, they have managed to get themselves back up to a 4. And you talk about them closing the stable. I like that joke, by the way. But closing the door, the fastest way to do that is a AWM round to that dome. And that is exactly what Lurex has in hand.
The problem is he's got too many Witchlands in front of him, and potentially Grindmore coming over the top, as we see Solo setting up. Oh, 3 Vs. We saw, we conquered. They saw, they conquered over the bridge. And they managed to keep alive, but also...
Bitfix all underneath! Oh, no!
Oh, can you get another one here? Oh, they have as well. Also turned down, just wanted to have to stick out the smoke. They've controlled a little bit as we saw we conquered, now trying to tab up, but V27 tabbing from behind. Smoke's going to go out. It's becoming a bit of a bloodbath now under this bridge. We know these guys have to make a bit of a ditch to come across. Wow, Pink Pony have been annihilated. Oh,
no,
my
they
God.
annihilate Grindmore. Grindmore.
That's what I mean. So annihilated Grindmore. Gee.
Oh, the pitter patter of footsteps as physics. Well, he's going to clutch that one out. 2 remain on their feet. That was brutal. Uh-oh, just missing the seat switch as the head didn't quite rear up. It looked like the player had been knocked out the car as the kill feed was wild. And unfortunately, he looked away for a second, which just allowed the knock to come in through there. Did get some big hits on, but the fight does go their way. Ultimately, at the loss of 2 players. And talking about losing players, well, Sakura Sensen, they've lost yet another one, and it's from our top fragger so far of Jekka.
Yeah, he's had a really good day. I know I said toxic off, right? So I'm not going to be slightly biased in any way, shape, or form. But take that apart. He's actually a really, really good day. He's consistently.
Oh,
and then he's in there again.
I think they call that the caster's curse. As
100%.
Yeah,
they've done enough today. Let's be honest, they've done enough. They've got to put in a good position. I think they might want to get more points on to maybe close the gap slightly on Ace Group, but I like what I'm seeing.
I do like what I'm seeing, and I tell you who is going to like what they're seeing is freebies running in the middle of nowhere. As Pink Ponies, like we talked about, they haven't had the day that they wanted, but with 5 kills on the board, that's already over half of what they've got in the 4 games previous. But they are outside circle, and they're meeting some heavy resistance, and there are a lot of tracers on that mini map looking towards them as they lose their first member. The first stallion is going to be put in the paddock for the night, and it's not looking like the task is going to get any easier, Mark.
Yeah, that zone shift's not going to favour them at all. And you remember, Not are in a higher compound than where Solo are, but both those guys won't really fight. Big mound in the middle. So Pink Pony have to stop BFG shooting them by getting in, but also taking shots from Solo as we see them rain firing now. And they've got the blue in the back. It's a hard day for the Pink Ponies.
Is indeed. That circle shifted on up, and it's the Squirtle Squad, the Squirtle gang that are reaping the rewards. As I said, that compound, there are a fair few finishes, both north and south side of it, and even to the east and west. So it's a center point, it's a magnet, it's a zone magnet, and the Squirtle guys, well, they're sitting up the top there, but they haven't really got involved in all too much action, and it is all going to be happening in the grounds below that hill point, as everyone's got to come up. X-Stains is going to take some heavy damage, but lays some back. Can he just clutch that out as Physics is going to pop his head back up, but no, the zone takes him before he can. Oh, the big shot just hitting around the edge of the smoke. Great game knowledge is weapon, and it is going to lay some shots, but it is actually going to be Source that gets Formulation down, and Pink Pony, they go out as well, but Formulation, they exit just after them, bringing us down to our top 10 teams, 20 minutes on the clock, and 30 players alive. It's getting spicy. There's only one game left of the day, and these teams, well, they desperately need the points, because if Aces and Toxic, we already know that Toxic, they're out. But if that lead keeps growing, it's going to be a nightmare to catch them tomorrow. As another team goes down, it's Sakura Sense, and they're one of the teams that really needed a good last game today.
Yeah, they need to push themselves to that left-hand side. I feel, unfortunately, Formulation Gaming and Pink Pony there, they were hoping that zone would push back to more of an east side. But with that zone shifting very much west now, and obviously coming off the island, it's forced them into a position where they have to run, lose the cars, they've got to run their way in. Pink Pony done well. They held off Guymar, who's having a great day again today. But it was always going to be hard. Photo with the first knock, as we see Ace go down.
Yeah, Jam's going to go down at the hands of Noki. So a little bit of revenge there for the game that Aces won, because that solo did put a lot of effort in and was dispatched by Michael and Purdy as a terrible twosome. But shots are coming back in as Junior tries to make the arduous cross towards his teammate, laying down some shots on the way and just getting rid of that peak. And the nade follow-up is absolutely phenomenal from the big Michael man.
Woo! Another one. They now know who they're fighting. They've got to just reset themselves. They know they've got the high ground. They can hold them out. Ace has got the ability to dip, dodge, duck, and dive and work their way around as they literally unleash utility on utility. And Squirtle Gang getting stuck on the head, unfortunately. They need to clear this fight quickly. I fear that friends might get on the third party. Because Squirtle Gang want to come off the top of this. They want to be picking up additional kills. They want to be picking up the third parties and the scabs. But they've got to deal with Ace. They can't just run away from this one.
Not at all, they can't. And if they reconsolidate into that compound, well, we know how good these players are at sieging compounds, as we're talking and looking at Friends dismantling the Crown Boys, and that's that in one foul swoop as Purdy finds another opener onto Frenchie. Frenchie has been fantastic tonight, and it's going to be confirmed out by Michael, and that's bringing the Skirtle squad down to just 2 members. And look at this, French, that third party they were talking about. Oh, Michael, stop it. You can't put sprays in like that, as Illidan finishes it off for Michael there. And the assist, well, he's not going to be happy enough as that, as now he's going to get on the offensive and try and make that point his own. But he's got to be careful with Illidan at range, who potentially now has a line of sight onto him.
Talk about statements early on, right? Ghetto Gang laid the statement. 10 kills, grenaded themselves out. I'm done. Right, see you later. This is a statement from Ace. This is them going, do you know what?
Whoa,
we believe we are the best in this lobby, and that is a prime example as to why they're on 5 kills, 19 people left. We're on 6 teams, but we've only got 22 on the clock.
Yeah, 22 on the clock, 17 players as Ival goes down to the zone, as he has had such a rough time of it from under the bridge, trying to dip and dodge his way in like we're playing dodgeball. And it has not been fun. So many lines of sight as now Physics is going to get eliminated, and we go down once again. We have 5 teams remaining, 16 players up. That's an average of about 3 per team. But the majority and the real estate game is firmly in the hands of the Aces boys, sitting up on the top of that compound, on top of the ridges, and just looking down and raining hellfire down.
It's going to be a hard one. V27 needs to shift north. I don't need to shift north. We're going to see this fight in this sort of southeast corner. Ace, again, just statement. No, someone else is fighting, I want to kill. Someone else is fighting, I want to be able to take the third party. You've got to let these 2 fight it out, then pick up the kills. But Aces just want to close the door on both of these guys. Solo need to work their way in. They are going to be very much aware that if they try and boot their way into the zone now, despite Aces has the high ground, that V27 will cause them issues. So they either wait for V27 to be controlled out, Solo either kill V27 or allow Ace to kill them before they work their way in. We're going to them to not potentially come over the top. again, another team I spoke about, Pink Pony, another team that I really like is Solo. I fear that they would not be disappointed with their complete performance today. We're seeing some really strong pockets of great performance from Solo, but just not the consistency we're used to seeing.
Yeah, Solo, again, some great pedigree in form of the names of like Senya, absolute legend of the scene, and Pombalavo, well, he's just answering the call to see a little bit more from them as he opens it up and creates a bit of breathing room for them to start their ascension up the hill. But O'Connell finds Purdy, and Michael's on his hip there to try and get the res off instantly. The cover needs to be good though, but that again is just going to allow some more shots to come on over. And Pombalavo again now taking the fight there. There's a little bit of smoke now coming out and source the nades. The utility comes up and over as they lose a player. Senya is already out. Pry is on his knees, but the two looking to confirm this out, looking to get things locked out on this south side of the zone and start to move up forward. But I don't think they're going to be allowed to do so freely with the likes of Aces and...
he turned his back at the wrong time. Oh, that was lucky. He turned his back at the wrong time, and then talk about timing when it comes to PUBG, and that's why we love the game. If he would have stayed on that half a second earlier, he might not be down to a one shot, and unfortunately getting tabbed with Ace those top side.
We come down to our top 4 teams. This is a 4v4 v3v1 as it stands, and that ascent up the hill is not looking favorable. Bombalova goes down, Pride goes down, as now it looks like it is going to be our top 3 teams. Solo eliminated. Purdy is going to be credited with that one, and now we've got some big number teams that's still up on their feet. 4v4 v3, and it is for that king of the hill spot.
This is Solo needed that no tags and Ace fight to really happen, or maybe Friends have a third party in order for them to get in, because both those teams just actually went, hold on, there's a team on the outside. Oh, there's 2 teams on the outside. Let's try and harvest some kills off of them. Now we did see not get a great heady across the Ace, but they are top of the hill though. So Friends have got a nice bit of movement around on the north side, but it's all an uphill battle from here. And unfortunately, Aces, who are sitting top of our table, are sitting with a 4-man on top of the hill.
They are indeed, and just before this kicks off, we've got one more giveaway to do. So, exclamation mark giveaway, and I will announce that at the very end of the stream for our last set of skins to give away today. But this is about to come down to the end game. 25 minutes on the clock, and the shots come out, and it's JR that's going to eat that 5-5-6 for dinner. And Illidan's been on an absolute spree in the last game. And friends, this is a much better game for them, but Michael is there with the cover and fire, and it's going to have to be a mad dash back to JR. It does look like it's only his first knock, though, so they should be able to get him back on his feet and potentially wait this out, as Friends might get into it. By the looks of it, their attention is firmly fixated onto no tag here.
Yeah, they're doing the right thing. Friends have put more points on the board this game than they have the entire of the other games. Like, so they're 1 point away, so they're 8. I thought they were 9. If they get one more knock, they will be half a pass. Yeah, that just reminds people actually how good a game Friends are having. They need this to bump up this right hand side of the table. But they've got exclamation mark leaderboard in the chat. Will get you the scores on the doors as what we're talking about and looking at. But remember, it's a 2-day event. We've got 10 rounds, and we've already done. We're on our 5th one. We've done 4. We're on our 5th one, and we've got 5 to go tomorrow.
Indeed, and if the action is as thick and fast as it has been today, I cannot wait. And it's going to come down to the wire. There are just it's so close on this leaderboard. Like going into this last game, there are but 10 points between 6th and 12th. That's 6 teams all tussling for those top 8 spots, and only 10 points between it. It is wild, Mark.
Yeah, Aces again, gifted his own. Let's not take anything away from what they're doing. 8 kills, top of the hill. They had to fight for it. And the top of the leaderboard, I feel like they're going to want to try and third party. I'm surely not, and Friends are going to go at it, and then we're going to see Aces steamroll at the end. Will we go all the way to the end? 100%. I want to see go all the way to I'll get max amount of time out of PUBG today, as we didn't get it on round 1 and round 2, as we had some really quick games. Looks like a lot of utilities coming through with Friends with a Groza. Utility. That is what's going to win games at the end zones like this, where we've got lots of bumps, dips, crevices, and even the compounding. Great shots coming through. As Friend are fighting hook by hook to right in. There's our first knock. Michael with the
big knock.
Michael goes straight over. Look how much utility he's carrying. This is what I'm talking about. Utility will win the game. 6 smokes, 2 nades. he's got the utility to go into this end zone.
Oh my god, especially if he uses it like that. And that was just a trio of 38s across the board there. Michael is going to get the bleed out onto Sahar, so now bringing down friends to 2, and it might be from friends to friend. And now Michael, he gets a little bit of karma as he eats a frag grenade of his own as they come around the smoke, bursting through. The Ace is there ready and waiting. A little bit of damage going in as they dance and cross each other's lines of sight there. Not advisable end game, but this is just allowing No Tag to sweep down to the south and around. This is brutal as Explicit now gets Illidan down, bringing down friends to friend, but they have revealed their location, and now this is going to avert the attention of Ace. Michael shouldn't be able to get saved here. Great spray coming out. Norskip runs out around, so that broken vest just buying him enough time. JR does get Rafa down as he gets the confirmation onto Illidan. It is just one friend left on the feet and a 3v3 elsewhere.
And Friend has to get in as well. It's going to be the end of that one.
Oh,
He's sure to get that one. 360 spin times 2. It's like Tony Hawk's, mate. Pro skater. What
I think they call that
as he bumps
720
his
in the
way
industry.
down. Yeah, I love it, mate. Shows my age a little bit there. Straight down to the rock as they're holding Ace on 9 kills. Their attention is very much firmly on Friends as he's still trying to hopefully that's another one shot. Nord is just fighting hook or by crook trying to get in, but it has this whole time. It has allowed not just to get in. Oh, he's still fighting hook or by crook. Cracked vest. Lid's about to go. Last of the U2 are now going forward as Knots fighting their way into the compound with a nice 2-2 split. They've had to use that south bridge really, really well. He's just happy he's in. I think he's going to try and lay low now. Maybe try and get some of these bandos off or try and stab something off the dead bodies. And he has managed to pick up and he's put himself back on with 5 smokes, 1 grenade out, 1 molly. It's going to go to the wire. Phase 8 is about to touch and we're going to go to the dot. We know what that means. Everyone's going to get nice and close. Has not done enough. Have they put themselves in a good position now to close the game out? Have Ace focused too much on their time on Friends, or has that benefited to allow them to move out? Not with that, as he gets one down to a 1 shot. Oh, nearly with a second.
That's huge there as Ace, they go up to 10 kills, but Jam now on his knees, Purdy having to heal on up and try and get back into the fight, and JR just having to hold the line. No Tag, though, on the outside looking into the compound. They're trying to get in. They do have members in there, but the Ridges, they are some form of solace right now as they can dip and dodge and move around as the players are pretty much corralled into these buildings. But what a hold off and what move from Nordskip there, managing to do enough damage on 2 players to get into that low ground and come up and around as now the barrage of smokes, the smoke wall comes out. That zone, like you talked about, the star reveals itself. That center point is just going to force everyone nice and close together, and it is going to end with people touching shoulders here.
Yeah, don't forget, obviously we've got slight X-ray on so we can see through the smokes these players. This will be a thick wall of white, unfortunately, which is, as we say, U2 is going to win. They're going to have to try and work their way through. Big shout to Acer. They managed to stick the red. They're actually a 3-man. It's a 3-on-4. We have seen games where 2-on-4s have actually flipped around the other side, but it's going to be horrible. Now get another knock. It changed their momentum and a flush straight away.
Now the zone's coming in, making things very uncomfortable for Jam, and Purdy is going to be flushed on out, just trying to hold the line, but Explicit gets another one onto JR. Just 1 player left up. Jam, we've seen him do incredible things before, and he's going to get O'Connell down. He can't quite get the flush. He doesn't have the utility to do so. Oh my goodness gracious me, Jam, that's disgusting. And Jam does go down. Winner, chicken dinner, 17 kills on the board. Oh, what a last game. And Jam, give me the fright of my life. Thought he was going to steal that away. 1-man army, but that 1 vest, battered, bruised, and broken wasn't enough. And a good game there, and a much needed game from No Tag as well. We talked about how close 6-12 were. They were sitting in 6th at the end of, at the beginning of that game. But wow, what a game to seal out the night. We've got the best of 5 done tonight. We've got 5 games tomorrow, and we only have a few minutes to wait before we see the leaderboards going into tomorrow. And I'm ready for that. But we can have a look at the game's stats for that game, and it's going to give us a little bit of an indication of where teams are sitting and a little bit of what's going on. But unless you're ridiculously good at that mental math, you've got your little notepad there. It's still a guessing game. And Ground Zero, you've been teasing us. You haven't given us that overall leaderboard, and you've made it that little bit more exciting coming into the last game of the night.
Yeah, let's not take anything away before we go across that leaderboard, though, but not with that 2-2 split. It's a different type of game plan. They pushed 2 in for the dot, right? So they knew they had an anchor point, but they held 2 back on that ridge, and that ridge game actually worked out. They did lose the guys in the compound as Ace dominated, and Jam was just tucking people in with that broken, cracked, duct taped together level 1 vest. But with that anchor point being out, they had that high ground and they knew he was stuck in the building and there was only one way he was going to come out. They got the early knocks on, but really good play. They situated themselves really well. They had to work their way up. And then with, again, oh my God, friends, a double 360 spin, tucking in 2 players of Ace to try and get you in, getting a knock, unfortunately not getting the second knock. With that whole action that sort of unfolded that northeast corner, it actually allowed not to actually reset themselves, think, actually, let's take advantage of this, not get on the third party. Let's push some people into zone and maybe play out for a win here.
Yeah, we've talked about individual moments of brilliance already tonight, and Nordskiff, wow, getting the damage on Jam playing down low, then the window jump coming out, clicking that, getting a big headshot, 54 damage coming straight on out, forcing the player to duck back into the window, not resting on his laurels though, using that to get into the low ground, to break that line of sight, to slither on his belly, re-bolster those utilities that would be drained from him trying to fight in, gets another knock on the board, weakening Aces and potentially being more influential on that win for No Tag than what we would care to admit. But that was absolutely phenomenal play. We've been blessed with some individual moments of brilliance tonight.
Well, we've seen some great one-man armies. We've seen some great team rotations. We've seen some great 2-2 splits and just team just throwing, like, as we said very early on, and we both agreed that actually, I think a lot of teams were going to come out this evening and go, look, it's a 2-day event. It's best of 10. We need to finish the day going, do you know what? We've had a good day. This point split isn't that far. We can go into tomorrow having another good day. And I think we're going to see that again tomorrow. Hopefully everyone else has been enjoying it because I feel like the momentum tomorrow is going to increase. The teams that have the lead need to hold the lead. The teams that haven't got the lead need to do everything. Only top 8 will go through. And they've only got 5 more games to do it.
They have. And, we talked about momentum at the start of the day. We said it's either going to be really slow paced or really fast paced. And wow, it was fast paced. Okay, so ladies and gents, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We are ready to go into that first scoreboard. So I believe it is going to be the previous game scoreboard, just building up that tension a little bit more, ladies and gents. So it is going to be the map-wise scoreboard. No Tag, of course, taking that with 17 points, but just a singular point behind with the fragging side on their favor is Aces. Wow. But friends, we talked about their point score at the start, and they put on a hell of a show in that last game.
Yeah, we keep mentioning it. Statement games.
Statements.
That is a statement game. No Tag, don't take anything away from them in that win, right? But Aces dominating the leaderboard. And not at the very beginning. They had to grind their way up here, but they went out of a statement. They could have just played hook by crook but they went literally to the wall, trying to pick up as many kills they can. They put 10 kill points on the board, our highest kill this round, as the closest they were sitting just underneath his friends, who we knew had to literally, by hook or by crook, pick up some kills, put some players in, and try and work their way in the zone. But it's the difference between a controlled game and a little bit of an uncontrolled game, not because of what you're doing, but because the zone shifting away. And Ace capitalized on the zone shift, capitalized on the movements of teams, and just got involved with as much fighting as they could.
Indeed, they did. So we're going to move on over to the next set of stats. We're edging ever closer to finding out what that leaderboard's looking like. But we'll go over and have a look. I believe this will be kills and knocks. And it's the overall leaderboard for that. And look at that. The last 2 games have polled the Aces boys, the big dogs, Michael and Purdy, up 12 kills apiece. That is terrifying. And just 2 games, neither of these players were on this leaderboard anymore. Michael was still very much on the damage one. But in 2 games, they've got 24 kills pretty much between them and getting themselves to the top of that leaderboard. Jekka does fall down to 3rd with 11th after being in that podium spot all night. Prior goes in with 10 and Sharon Knapp with Ironic. Looking at the knocks, Mark, the tail of the tape is in your hands.
Yeah, look, honestly, before we move over, Jekka, though, I'm sorry, mate, commentator's curse. I killed you off in that last round. I'm going to apologise straight off the bat. But let's not take anything away. Look at Ace JR, though. He's not on the kills, but look at the knocks, 10 on him, and he's not even on the kill leaderboard. So he, again, for that team, that just shows that a team across the board is putting a huge shift in, and everyone is picking up their weight. Cran, though, have got the higher knocks, though, with 12, Michael with 11, Wade with 10, and we that came from a outstanding last Aranco game. Ace Junior, though, he with 10 as well, and Blazer now holding on with 9.
Indeed, but Mark, I think it's the moment we've all been waiting for, and I'm going to let you bring us through the overall leaderboard.
No, the overall leaderboard.
Oh, no.
Damage.
The damage, yeah. See, the hype. The hype.
I'll take this one because then you can work on for the overall leaderboard. But look at that. Look, we're on the last time we saw this, it was grind more on the right hand side, a little bit of a spread. This time we're now seeing it in game number 5, Ace, and we mentioned everyone putting a shift on the board, and every one of those players now are sitting on the overall damage because they are working as a unit and they are doing it well. Gekado picking up on that sort of last hand side for the damage, but look, Michael, nearly 2.5. Oof, let's go on tomorrow.
Yeah, Big Mike, we love him, and he is putting down the numbers. We can now. Mark, I think we're ready. I think I and production have teased us enough for this final leaderboard, and I think we're ready for it. So, without further ado, let's have a look at who is sitting on the top spots after games number 5.
So the first day, obviously, Ace Crew, they're picking up their point there, 60. So we are seeing a slight split from them. Obviously, round 4, they were sitting on 44, so a little bit of increase there, and a slight split. But No Tag are hounding literally behind them with 42. Toxic, though, have dropped themselves down. They have been on this left-hand side of the table and holding up high for quite some time, but have been falling down. But a couple are in 4th place. Fit Gaming, BFG, though, they've been up and down, but they are still holding on, and we see some great movement and rotations from them guys. Solo, did they leave it to the last game? I feel like they did, as they were lurking sort of mid to low table, but have been building the momentum as a solo team, and they are now sitting in 5th place. Cran, though, holding up in 6th with 31 points. Ghetto Gang now in 7th. Friends are in 8th. Don't forget, though, we have another day. This is the leaderboard, the overall leaderboard after day number 1. We have day number 2, and every one of these teams after day number 2 want to be holding up on that left-hand side of the leaderboard.
They will indeed. And there are just 5 more chances to get there as we are about to finish up day number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to end up with the last giveaway of the night. Again, thank you so much to Playtonia. Oh, right. We're going to get called out for this because this is gone out to one of the caster boys, Saga UK. He's won himself some skins. Fix. Saga, send me a message. I'll drop you over a code. Atomical is yet to do the same. But on that note, huge shout out to Playtonia for getting us the skins, for getting us the giveaways. It's massive, and it's great to give the community back something for supporting us, for supporting their teams. But from me, from Elite Esports, from Playtonia, from mates, it's good night. It's GG's. We'll see you tomorrow. 5 games left to decide who will be going forward into the finals.
All clear on the roof. Heading back down.
Roger. Hurry up. We need to move.
Just make sure I don't take a bullet in the back.
Looking good. Keep it steady.
I hear footsteps. I got a bad feeling.
Enemy spotted. Move! Move!
You're going up next time.
There won't be a next time.
Oi, Amelia, what's the deal then?
2 up top, 2 downstairs.
All right, so we just go prancing in the front door as per usual then, huh?
Not today, hermano. We must be like ghosts. Trust me, these will do the trick. The fog of war. Remove all visibility. We take them out one by one. They won't know what hit them.
Oi, who's that behind you? Look, here's what we do. Surprise attack. We go in big chicken dinner style through the window, guns blazing.
You mean like in Miramar?
Oh, shit. Enough. First, we smoke out the first floor. But we'll need a distraction. Something super loud and obnoxious.
Right, I see where this is going.
Don't worry, Aziz. I got your back.
down.
Vamos!
Winner, winner.
So, where to next?